I keep forgetting to push the go live button. I already said hi to everybody, and I guess I was talking to myself. Hi, Eve, Cotton Candy Boobs, accidentally on purpose. Hi, Annabelle, Survivor 67, Deborah Ann. Good to see you. I hope you're feeling okay. Nunya Beeswax, I like that name. Sonia, hi. Rakes, hello. Carla Barnes, welcome. Hi, Tennessee Truth. Thanks for coming. Hi, Just Jen. Love ya. So I'm assuming you guys can hear me. I'm never quite sure. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting live. Hello, Melissa. I'm kind of upset tonight before we get into the program. Hey, Alessia. Tracy. Delahanty. Hey, Birdie. We got a lot of people in here. First, I want to address something that's got me pretty upset, so I don't know how this is going to go, but hi, Abundance Crate. Squirrely Girl, hey, my squirrely friend. Sonia, always good to see you. Linda, hello. Abundance Crates. So you're probably aware of this, and, you know, I hate to attack other creators. However, hi, Pommy Mom. There's a creator that has started making videos about me. I'm not exactly sure why. I've never even mentioned her that I can remember. But she is making videos accusing me of being a pedophile, of having sex with Don, of taking my children and moving into a pedophile complex. Hi, Nana for Life, like Superior Girl. I don't even have children. And I'm just really upset. I just came across all this. So if you guys see that, I would appreciate you reporting this channel. Yeah, Alessia. It's pretty upsetting, actually. It's got me really shaken. I don't understand. And she's claiming part of Lisa Jetton's story is mine. I don't understand what's going on. I really don't. I don't know how my name got into this because yeah, Squirrely Girl. It seems like, yeah, she's talking about the other Lisa. But now she's included my last name in the last two. So, yeah, I've never talked to her. I mean, I've never talked about her. I've posted a few things about, you know, correcting her when she's put up misinformation. But I don't understand. I don't know. Yeah, I'm really shaken. So you'll have to take that into account tonight. Because that's pretty upsetting. Hey, Lips. Glad you're here. Yes, Nana for Life. It is very disturbing. So maybe if enough people report it, I don't know, maybe they'll take it down. Otherwise, I'll go to YouTube because Twitter, because that's usually the best place to get a response. Yeah, Don is out of control. He's being prodded, though. And Chris McDonough did say that his whole point is to make Don go off the deep end and do something. So, we can talk about that a little bit later, too. Have I got everybody? Thanks, Deborah Ann. I'm trying to keep from crying. I don't think I've ever really been attacked like this before. Hi, Sassy Frass. She's using your life story as mine. Okay, I hope so. I almost thought about canceling. Anyway. So, thanks, Nana. I'm glad to see you here. Yes, Jingle Bar. Hi. Well, the word knowledge is in her channel name. Does that give you a hint, Carla? Okay, so let's get into this. Let's talk about Chris McDonough first, and then we can go into the read-through of she's Sassy Press. She's got part of your story, and she's putting it on me. Saying that I lived with pedophiles in Arkansas and I took my children there. I've never lived in Arkansas, and I don't have any children. And then, the other stuff. No, I'm a pedophile. Whatever. So let's stop talking about this because I'm going to start crying. Okay, so Chris McDonough, and then we'll get into the first interview with Mary Hartman that Theresa did. Okay, there's several things, and I'm not attacking Chris personally. Oh, hi, spiritual being. Thank you. I appreciate that because, it is pretty terrible. But I'm talking about the misinformation that Chris has put out. And I think, if you listen with an open mind. Hi, Sonia. Glad to see you back. He tends to, like he did in the Michael Crow case, and Nomadic Truck, Jamie Wilson, AK Rocks. Those are a few that I know about. He tends to get tunnel vision, I think. He gets focused on someone or something at the beginning. And we all know that's not the way that you do. Hi, Bob. I'm glad you came. Sandy, hi. Hi, Anastasia. That's not the way you do an investigation. You look at the evidence and see where it points you. You don't pick who you think did it and then look for evidence that proves your theory. You're not supposed to have a theory yet. So, hi, Annabelle, sweetie. So, like with, Michael Crow, I think Chris's son maybe did a lot of research for him, is what I've been told. I can't verify that, but when his son moved away to college, it seemed like maybe he's not doing as much research as he should. Where's Beverly Vinland? I can't see her because I think she has me blocked. I really don't want her in here. I'm sorry. Especially when I can't see her comments. Okay, so some things that Chris has said, and chime in if you have others. Like the missing child booth. We heard him disparage that, and not just the people who did it, but the booth. Well, and the people who did it, and accused them of hanging up posters of missing children who had already been found so that they could claim that they found them because of the booth. I just think that's outrageous. Hi, Janice. If he does research, he isn't very good at it. That's all I'll say. So I think Michael Kroll. I don't know. That's an interesting thing. Actually, that's very interesting. I wonder if I could get Michael Crow to talk about. I wonder if I could get him on a show. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't. I don't know if he does research. I'm going to address that. Yeah, I don't. Lips, do you see Beverly in here? I don't want her in here, please. I'm sorry. You guys know I don't block anyone or time anyone out, but I don't want Beverly in here. I'm sorry. Okay, so yeah, I think so. I'm going to reach out to him and see if I can get him to talk to me. He probably, I'm sure that's a sore subject with him. And maybe he doesn't want to talk about it or relive it. I don't want to open old wounds for him, but oh, good. I'm glad to hear that, Deborah Ann. I'm sorry. Okay, let's talk about Rose Bly. Now, his whole show on Rose Bly was false, mostly false. The information that he gave is not true in that, and I'm blocked there, so I wasn't allowed to set him straight. But just basic things about her case, he was misstating in there. So that's how I first got onto how he maybe isn't doing research or doesn't know what he's talking about. For one thing, Warren. Hi, Stay Tiger. Candy's brother, Warren Hare, is a sex offender, registered sex offender. I agree that he is bad. He's had 2 convictions, one in 84 and one in 94. Hi, Survivor 67. Yes, I can. Oh, hi, Brown Girl. Welcome. Yes, I can see you. Hi. Where was I? Okay, yes, Warren, I don't want to talk too much about his actual case because I don't want to out his victim or victims. But Candy has always kept her children away from Warren. I don't believe any of them have even ever met Warren. He was in jail. Well, he was locked up in a facility and jail for the majority of the time. I think the last 2 girls were born. I think he went to jail when Candace was 1. Shitty Pie, hi. Hi, Missy. I love your name. No, I guess we are talking about Rose, but they do not have anything to do with Rose. The family does not have anything to do with Rose. Maybe watch, my videos on Rose. I know. He's got a haircut now. But yeah, there's a strong family resemblance there. Yeah, he's never met any of them. The family doesn't really have anything to do with Warren. And I know people said that Candy left after Summer went missing to go help Warren move into his new place. I can tell you that's 100% false. She doesn't have anything to do with Warren. And I don't think that's all that hard to understand. Hi, Tree. Welcome. Yes, Sonia, no, she has absolutely no relationship whatsoever with him. Oh, hi, Steve's mom. Welcome. Yeah, my Thanksgiving was awesome. Thanks. I had to, I lost my mom not that long ago, and so it's just my dad and my brother and sister, me. I cooked all day. I made corn pudding recipe from Shaker Village, and it was amazing. It went over really big. I'd post that recipe, but they might not appreciate it because it's in their cookbook. But yes, Candy has been a drinker all her life. I think she's cut back, but yes, she was a very heavy drinker, definitely. Oh, thank you, Missy. Yeah, it's hard on my dad, very hard on my dad. I mean, they were married over 60 years, so he's really missing her. Hi, Anita. Welcome. Okay, so Warren. Chris said, and I don't know why he's even bringing Warren into this, because Warren has nothing to do with Summer. And I saw someone in the comments say, yeah, Warren was released a month before Summer went missing, and that's absolutely false. We know he was moved from the secured housing he was in to a different secured housing place 6 or 7 weeks after Summer went missing. But I don't know why he even brought Warren up. I really don't, because Warren has nothing to do with either Rose or Summer. Yeah, she said that, but I talked to someone that actually was drinking with her not too long ago. So I think she did cut back a lot. I don't think she... oh, I'm sorry, Tracy. That's a big adjustment, isn't it? I'm sorry. Yeah, why even bring Warren up? Hi, Sleuthhound. Charlie B. Warren here is Candy's brother. He's a convicted sex offender and has been in a psychiatric facility. In 1994, he got found guilty, but not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect. So he was in a psychiatric facility since then. And I think 3-4 years ago, he was given a release to a halfway house. Well, not a halfway house, but a group home. And got a job. And then he had good reports for all of that. So then he got transferred to another one. It's a 4-bed facility, with 3 other sex offenders. He's on a monitor. He is an escape risk. I do think he's very dangerous. However, hi, Jan. Welcome. But he is not Wisconsin's most dangerous sex offender. Yes, they did have to, and I don't know why. Yeah, why did he bring Warren up? And why did he say why is he trying to make him sound worse than he is? Why is he saying that he's Wisconsin's most dangerous sex offender? Is he trying to insinuate that he had something to do with Summer? Maybe he doesn't realize. Oh, Steve's mom, yes. There is one here in my town. I called it Sex Offender City. I hated to deliver in there because it was almost all sex offenders in there, which I guess is good to keep them all in a confined area there where people, decent people know to avoid that. I didn't really have any choice, but... Oh, you didn't, Deborah? You didn't get the idea that he was insinuating Summer? Yeah, I don't know why he talked. Okay, so he was correct that they didn't want him released. They did make a petition to have him designated a sexually violent person. That's a Wisconsin law that was signed into law in 1994. And what it is when a person has completed their sentence. It's called Chapter 980. A person must have committed a sexually violent offense, have a mental disorder, and be determined to be dangerous to others. Now, I agree Warren meets those. So this is a civil commitment. After you've served your sentence, you're civilly committed to the psychiatric facility. So they did petition to have Warren declared a sexually dangerous person. However, and this is all public record, you can look it up, he had a psychiatric evaluation, and when that came back, the state dropped their petition. So, Chris said that they wanted him not released, and the parole board went ahead and released him anyway. There was never a parole board involved at all. The state dropped it for whatever reason after his psychiatric evaluation came in. So I assume they know more than we do. There's some reason why they dropped it. I'd like to know what that is, but of course I can't get those documents. Oh, that could be Survivor 67. That could be. So since 1994, Wisconsin has had 500 sex offenders declared sexually dangerous offenders. Warren is not one of them. So Warren is not Wisconsin's most dangerous sex offender. I just wanted to set that straight. I don't know. I didn't think he knew. It's hard to tell. Hi, Criminology. Love you. I hope I didn't miss anyone. Oh, my 3 sons. Okay. Jen, yeah. Okay. But, the things he said, what I'm bringing up is the things he said about Warren were not true. The shed. Now, he said that Candace told him he could not go in the shed. And if you watch the video, that's not correct. She did tell him he could look in the shed. The door was partially open. So I don't know why. I don't know why he didn't look in the shed. I can't remember who I was talking to that said that Chris admitted he knew Don wasn't in the shed. So, that just goes back to his tunnel vision. Why is he trying to give the impression that Don is doing things that Don didn't do? And I'm not sticking up for the Wells. I've said Don's a piece of shit as far as I'm concerned. His only redeeming quality is he does work hard, but that's not enough of a mitigating factor to excuse everything else he's done. He's a career criminal. He's demonic. And Candace is the same. Candace and Don and Candy are all pathological liars. You literally can't believe anything they say. And I'm sorry, Nana for Life. I know that you have a different opinion of them, so that's okay. I have friends that think, differently than I do too. So that's fine. Not everyone has to agree with me. As far as the couch, I posted pictures of the couch. Tennessee Truth has, yes, I think he definitely did for some reason, yes. Somebody said hi, Theresa, and I must have missed that. I'm sorry if I missed someone. Hi, my three sons. JM. The blue sofa. Oh, I know you do, hon. And I love you, so yes, all opinions are welcome here, and I don't block anyone or time anyone out, except for Beverly. Sorry. Hey, cotton candy boobs. Okay, so the sofa, I believe Jamie, who was it? Is Tennessee Truth still in here on? She videotaped it, and someone else, I think it was Jamie, that Jamie Wilson took pictures, but Tennessee Truth went by and videoed it. I made a post on my community tab about and posted her video. She drove by and videoed the couch, and Don was actually standing there on the hill looking at her, probably wondering what someone was doing driving by real slowly videoing. But anyway. Hi, Pamela. Hi, Paula. I think you're related to these people. Me? How did they get the car, the red car? Don bought that. From a Wallace Imports in Johnson City. Yes, I think, and that isn't any different from any creator. Some people take things on, blind trust. And I wish people would do their own research because, I do have a lot of paid databases that people don't have access to, of course, unless they pay. But there's a lot of information out there that's available to the public, free of charge. Do your own research is all I can say. Don't blindly believe a creator, even me. Go ahead and check out what I say. If I'm wrong and you can give me evidence, I'll admit I'm wrong. I've admitted it before. Nobody's infallible. But, in some cases there's a pattern. So, Tennessee Truth, can you answer Missy's question? When was it that you drove by there? She wants to know. And Don. Missy, that video is on my community tab. And I gave the timestamp so you can look it up. He did make good money. Yep. Hi, Greenish Goblin. Welcome. Okay, Missy, I'm going to leave yours up here until Tennessee Truth answers you. Oh. Okay, wait. Sorry, I took it down. Sharon Stainer, yes, he did. He did. He absolutely did. No, he didn't say he's the world's worst sex offender. He said he's Wisconsin's worst sex offender. He's not even one of the 500 worst sex offenders. I've never really seen Chris show receipts of his info. That's another thing. He said Candy had sealed records for child abuse in Wisconsin and all these aliases. I mean, the only aliases she has are Candy Hair and Candy Bly when she was married to Jim. So, and she doesn't have any record of child abuse. And he didn't show any either. He didn't show any receipts. He didn't show anything about winning. Oh. Birdie. Okay. I don't know any about that. I don't know anything about the hookers. Hi, Carrie Moody. Welcome. Hi, Tracy Ann. Tracy, do you want to come up on panel? And discuss this with me? I know you have some thoughts about Chris McDonough. You're welcome. Okay. Tennessee Truth said last winter, 2022 was when she went by and videoed the couch. Hi, Kim Holmes. Okay, who did I miss? Oh, yes, lots and lots and lots. Yes, Gavel Geeks, welcome. Her, if you use Ben Verified, yes, it comes up with a lot of aliases and addresses and associates that aren't really yours. And I did do a video on that and explain how those sites gather information. And that's why they have a disclaimer on their site that that the information, may not be accurate. And it is. She does not have a record in Wisconsin. I'm sorry, she doesn't. Okay, chasing. Yeah, sure. Okay, let's see. And I do know how to post in chat now. I thought I did. Post a comment. Why isn't it letting me post a comment? Okay, wait. Well, shoot. Okay, there you go. Did I miss anybody? Hi, Nature Lover. Marie Kitchen. Oh, do you think so? That could be. Plug your candles. Okay, there's your there's the link. Oh, Chris. Hi, Chris. Okay, Tracy. I dropped the link there for you. So I'll just wait for you to come up. Another thing is, yeah. Hi, Chris with Curiosity. Yeah, I'm down and out. If you go back to the beginning, you'll know why. Yeah, I had an upsetting day. Okay, so let's see. Let's go down here to the Utah case. Now, Chris has known that there was never going to be a Utah case. Even Jeannie said there was never going to be a Utah case. She was told that the statute of limitation had expired. Hi, Wisconsin Mama. Hi, Truth Hurts. Yep, we're going to get to that in just a second. Pamela, it's coming up. Just as soon as we get to this. Welcome, Tracy. Hey.
Do I have an echo?
I don't think so.
Good.
You sound fine. Did you want to say anything about the couch?
Thank you. Oh my gosh. You know, the couch that Summer was put in, and there was probably blood all over it, and who knows? That could be how they got her out of there in the couch. Unbelievable. Last night was so extremely frustrating. It really was not good at all. Oof.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way a lot of times when I watch. He does cases I don't know much about, but the ones I do know about, yeah. The Utah case, you can't overrule a Supreme Court decision. You just can't. And the Supreme Court has ruled that, that you can't. The statute of limitations elimination is not retroactive. And a separate case said that in a civil case, it can't not be retroactive. I can provide those cases if anybody needs it.
His statement was that there was a case and the statute ran out, but they are considered victims by law enforcement. That was the statement, right? That he made last night.
Yes. Well, yes. Dr. Gary said, are these allegations? I really thought he was very good at trying to keep Chris on track and stop some of the misinformation. Yes. He said, are these allegations or are these actual cases? And I thought, bravo, good question. And Chris said,
I really liked him.
I did too.
But I was looking forward to a fair, accurate assessment of the case, or, I knew from the last time he had him on that the plan was to go over Summer's room, aka the dungeon. So I already knew kind of what it was set up to be, and that was disappointing. But I was thinking, okay, well, perhaps he's done some more investigating and he'll be able to do this more on his own. Even though he doesn't know the people, it might be interesting really to hear his assessment. But once I saw that Josh was there and Chris and the way that it was being led, I was like, oh, this is horrible. I mean, I don't even know how many misstatements or leading statements that I ended up putting on my community post, but I gave up halfway through. I was just like, this is upsetting.
Yeah, it's hard to listen to. And he was definitely trying to lead him. I mean, talking
Mhm.
about the basement, yeah, how it's a dungeon. What do you know about people kept in isolation?
Mm.
She wasn't kept in isolation. I mean, she could go outside, she could go upstairs. There was a television there and a game system. I mean, it wasn't like they locked her in a dark room. I don't know, and
No,
I felt sorry for Dr. Gary because yeah, he was getting bad information to base
I
his
mean,
opinion on.
by the end of it, he was referring to Dawn as the offender.
Yeah,
So, by that point, I was just like, okay, well, I mean, it is what it is. There's not much that can be said at this point if, you know, that's where we end up. So, and I get there were people on my community post asking, are you the one with the degrees and the education in this? No, the doctor was, and I really wanted to hear a fair, balanced, informed assessment from the doctor. I didn't want him being led down a specific path, which is where Chris has led this entire case from the beginning when
yeah,
he was not invited, even though he insinuated that when he and the card team got there and when he was called in, none of those things happened. You weren't invited, which is why you disliked them so greatly. You got to go there, meet Candace, do a tour, but Dawn didn't want to interview with you after that. They didn't want you back up there. The Cold Case Foundation has to be invited. And I'm sorry, but you weren't. So who on the card team was giving him all this information? I'd much like to know that because he wasn't working in official capacity like he was on Michael's case, right? On Monkey Vaughn's case. So that
no.
confused me.
The TBI issued 2 statements that they were not working with him, and one of those was after he said that he added information to a share file that TBI was sharing with him.
Mm, yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah,
You have a good memory.
I do have a good
Yep.
memory.
I
People
bet I
say, "Oh,
was talking.
you're a know-it-all." No, I just remember it.
I remember having a conversation recently with the girls, and I said, I think I've forgotten more than I've learned about this case because so much misinformation and garbage has been put out that you actually begin to forget what you knew to be the basic facts because
Yes,
there's so much constantly put out.
yeah.
Constantly.
Well, yeah, and there was a lot of things put out in his chat that he didn't bother to correct too, of course, because,
Hmm.
we want it to be everything against Don.
Right.
Um, yeah, I'd like to see Dr. Gary on his own.
Me too. Me too. I really feel like he is a fair, balanced, very well informed guy. I was so impressed with him. And I
Me
just
too.
thought, okay, we're really going to hear something good now. And by the end of the first show, I was like, oh, shit, I see where this is going. And I get it. Okay, you guys don't like Dawn, Chris and Josh. They have their issues with Dawn, and that's fair. That's fine. Dawn fights right back with them. He says dirty, nasty things to them. That's fine. But this is about Summer. It's about her case. And if we're going to bring professionals in to assess the case, let's give the facts of the case. You're
Yeah.
taking him back to when he was 12 years old. Nobody mentioned that he was 12. And I know people will attack and say, well, it doesn't matter because she was 5, 6, or 7. And it doesn't matter, Tracy. Okay, I understand. But a 12-year-old and a child is very different than an adult man and his daughter. And
Well,
unless we're stating all the info, then we're not stating any info. We're stating garbage because you're leading the man to think that he's like a convicted pedophile, a predator, offender, registered sex offender or something, instead of laying all of it out. Yes, he's done this, this, and this. There's no evidence, no proof. CPS has been involved. As far as we know, she was never taken away before that. And they even alluded that CPS was supposed to come back on June 15th. I
Yeah.
just lost it at that point. I said, I can't do it.
Or, yeah, they were coming on June 16th to take the boys. And then Don said that they came on the 14th and closed that case. There was never that. He made that up. There was never a case for that. I know that. But for people
Josh
to think
said,
that they actually.
they were coming back the 15th. Am I
Yeah,
right? And I'm thinking, no, you're
for
not.
people to think that they actually came on the 14th and said, okay, everything's fine, we're closing the case, when they were planning to come back and take all the kids. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I know. And then
People,
instead of them saying, Summer went missing and Child Protective Services immediately was there and they were on the property. And Dawn, I spoke to Dawn, they were relieved that those people were there talking to the kids because they were trying to help the kids process and get through what they were dealing with. So they were up there talking to the children. CPS wasn't absent. They didn't just show up 5 weeks and 6 days later and say,
yeah,
well, we got to take your kids. People behave as though they were taken a couple of days later. Untrue. They act like CPS wasn't involved from the minute Summer went missing. And they were. And the Wells were okay with that. So it's the misinformation. It's so much. It's so much.
in that interview, didn't Chris at one point say Don was a 25-year-old man? I swear I heard that. Either he or Josh.
When all of that happened,
Yeah.
what was said was, when you're a teen or in your 20s and you're doing this to a child, and that's what the doctor said, because that's where they led him, and nobody corrected it and said, no, 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 wait a minute. He was 12, even though that doesn't excuse it. He was 12. He wasn't an
Right.
older teen or in his 20s. Diamond Girl Tracy, so why were the kids taken? I'd prefer not to get into why the kids were taken, but it was almost 6 weeks later, and it
Didn't have
was a
anything to do with
determination
Summer.
of the state. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
a
it didn't have anything.
determination of the state. Nothing to do
Didn't
with
have,
Summer.
no, nothing to do with Summer. Oh, yes, there was neglect, I think. I believe there was, in my opinion, neglect there.
Yeah.
But no evidence of abuse.
Mm-mm. Nope.
And certainly
Wasn't
not
about abuse.
any abuse that's risen to the criminal level.
Nope.
None
of that. Nope.
I mean, CPS was there several times and saw the situation, and
yeah, prior to Summer going missing,
yeah,
and the children weren't taken.
Right.
So, I mean, after they were taken, I'm sure Candace and Dawn were dealing with police being interviewed. The boys were being interviewed. A lot was happening. So, in addition to Summer going missing, I'm sure the house was in shambles and the parents were in shambles. And, CPS has to make a decision, and they did. But it wasn't due to Summer or any abuse.
No,
Okay,
I'm trying to
seriously. Yeah,
keep up
Diamond,
with
if
Chapman.
that's what you're asking, I don't know what you're asking then.
I don't know. Hi, Charlie B. Yeah, it took a bit to realize all the lies. Well, and there was one woman that she actually has a channel. She's a psychic or something, and she was under 4 different aliases, saying how Summer came over to her house and Candace sent Summer with melatonin and Benadryl to give her, and then she was various different people involved in the case. And if she hadn't have interjected all those lies right at the beginning, how much farther would we be? I mean, people still think that stuff was true and still repeat it to this day.
Yeah. And they'll go on to repeat much of what was said last night. And
Yeah,
how do you
that's true.
I see the frustration in your posts. There'll be a lot of, this is kind of what happened here, and here's the information, so you can look it up. And people are like, 8,000 people in a chat, and then like 22 people see your post. And I'm going, is that right? Because she's telling you right here, this is what happened or what's going on. And it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And somebody had posted on my wall after I made some comments, and they said, I'm just waiting for, coupon for the book or whatever. And I laughed it off and just said, oh, yeah, that'll probably happen. And it literally ended up happening, not a coupon, but a promotion for, and to start the show off with, we're going to have fun. None of this is fun. There's a little girl missing, and you've defamed her parents in the worst of ways. And none of this is fun. It just isn't. And then you bring up Rose as though somebody going missing all those years ago has
Yeah.
anything to do with anything. And then her uncle is the most prolific sex offender of his time.
Yeah.
Is that right? Oh, I never knew that. I never knew that. It's just too much. It's far too much.
It's all very leading and biased. He set his sights on Don from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's just not the way you. Oh, thanks, Eve. Yeah, please post Tracy's channel too. Thanks. Yes, I think.
Diamond Girl, yes. Her uncle is gross. Yes. Her uncle
yeah,
is
there's
gross.
no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that.
What does that have to do with Summer Wells? That's our whole point here. And I think that's Lisa's point as well. You can say that, and you can assume that the boys were taken because they were going to end up like Summer, and you can assume all the things, but we're not law enforcement. And what we do on YouTube carries great responsibility. Our voices hold weight. We're putting it out into the world. And if you want to put out hate, that's fine. That's lovely. But it isn't helping, because you know what? Summer never met Candace's uncle, who lives far, far away. He has nothing to do with this story. Nothing to do with this case. Rose has nothing to do with the story or the case. This case is about Summer Wells, who went missing from Rogersville, and not all of these other people. And I think the people forget that, because it's more fun to talk about whether Candace had a bra on, and why did she go get her hair done, and how dare she smile. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. No, Chris, they didn't. Your name didn't come up. Just Rose. I think it's more they're trying to say that Candace and Don had something to do with Rose also. And anybody that knows anything about that case. And I posted receipts there too, so.
Yeah, that was totally the implication. There's also a sister missing on the mother's side. Okay.
Irrelevant comment. Okay, I'll have to go back up. People, they didn't even have to give CPS the kids. That's not exactly what happened there. No, that was Don's story. You have to realize Don lies. So, that's not what happened there. They might have agreed to it, but it wasn't what was happening after Summer went missing. So, yeah, be careful what you believe there. Family dynamics. That could be Don's family. I don't know. What do you think, Tracy?
No. Mm-mm. Of course, family dynamics matter, right? And them saying the past dictates the future and all of this. Yes, that matters. Who was in Summer's circle? Who did Summer know? Did she know the people around her, the people at church, the people on the road, Dawn and Candace and Grandma? Those are the people who were in Summer's circle in her life. The Uncle is under lock and key somewhere. Rose is missing. There's nobody from Utah or Wisconsin or wherever these people are who were down there. I'm sure they looked into that immediately. They become irrelevant. Dawn and Candace were never charged or, none of that in Rose's case. I mean, Chris is in here. Lisa can tell you it has nothing to do with Summer. A 60 some odd year old pedophile who lives in Wisconsin or Utah or whatever has nothing to do with Summer Wells or CPS or the boys or her going missing. It has nothing to do with it. It doesn't, that is not a family dynamic. That man's been locked up forever. How is he relevant in any way to this case? He's not. And to mention it is just sensationalism. It's to lead people down the road that you want them to go down. Did you know that there's a pedophile in her family? Tell me what that has to do with Summer Wells. Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, I'd rather he stuck to relevant facts than bring in this. Well, it's all to cast, suspicion on somehow Don, although he doesn't know Warren. Oh yeah, and I saw a comment and another thing where, oh yeah, I can see the family resemblance there with Don and Warren. Like Don and Warren aren't related.
Do you see? It's absolutely bizarre. It's like, what? You see the resemblance in two people who aren't even related. Good for you. I'm glad you figured that one out. We need you on Summer's case immediately.
I know why they took them. And like I said, they may have agreed to it, but I know what the basis was. The odd thing was then they went to stay at Clyde Trent's that night with Candace. So,
No
you
legal
might be right.
grounds. They could only take them if the parents agreed to it. If the state had an order to remove the kids for whatever reason under the state, neglect, let's say, because I'm not going to say why they were removed. If it was for neglect, which falls under the grounds of CPS in that state, what they'll do is give the parents a plan to follow. They'll have regular visits with the parents to make sure that the parents know what the plan is, know what they're supposed to do, etc. They couldn't say, no, you can't take my kids. Technically, I guess they could say, take us to court. But if they had the authority of the state to remove the children, then they can remove the children.
If Candace's uncle is a pedo, Candace may be a victim. Candace was not a victim. She never met Warren. Candace even admitted for a while she did say, and she said that her dad abused her evil stepsisters abused her dad was really her stepdad, but then she finally came out and admitted that she did not suffer any abuse of any type in her childhood. So there's, you have to take what people say with a grain of salt here. How do I know everything? Like I just said, I don't know everything. I just remember everything. Anything I know in Summer's case came from me researching Rose's case. So yes, I do know some people involved. I know neighbors, friends. I do not know the Wells, but I do know people that know them, that have interacted with them, that have lived with them. So, and I have people contact me on Messenger constantly and tell me things.
She picked Dawn over her kids. Fact. How is that a fact? How do we know that? What? How is that a fact? If they gave the parents a plan, then that's both of the parents, right? Now, if they barred Dawn from ever seeing the children again, that would be on file. And if Candace declined to do the plan so she could stay with Don because he was barred from the children, then I could see you saying that. But where are these people coming up with the word fact? She picked Don over her kids' fact. How is that a fact? A fact is something that is provably, you can prove that it's the truth.
Right. And there are very few facts as far as
Very,
the Wells are concerned in this case.
very,
Rebecca,
very true.
I'm not going to highlight your comment, Rebecca Mattis, but that is a valid comment. That's all I'm going to say there. How long was Candace in foster care? She went into foster care shortly after Candy left the family when she pulled the knife on her dad and her sister. So I believe she was 14 or 15.
And then she was out on her
Until,
own by what, 16?
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Was she?
I thought maybe didn't she go with the carnival? She was pretty young, right?
No,
18,
no, she didn't go
19.
to the carnival until after she had her first two kids with Andrew, and then lost them. Then she was
After
in
that,
a
yeah.
local carnival. She was only in the carnival less than a year, I believe, and then they fired her and dumped her off. And
Right. And then she called grandma,
yep,
allegedly,
yep, who
to
was in
come
the
get her.
who was managing the hotel there in Arkansas, motel.
Yeah.
Don is the father of the kids. Don's father of yes. I don't think Don is the boss of the relationship, but that's some people's opinion. I think Candace can take care of herself. Yes, they are
Fine
legally
when I met
married.
her.
What?
I said she did fine when I met them. She didn't
Yeah.
seem to be bossed around at all.
No, even Candy says that. She said when Don says something about Candace is drinking, Candace just kicks him out of the house. I do believe that. I mean, Candace broke Don's eardrum.
I mean, I think that Donna's an alpha, or wants to be, or tries to be. You know, when Rose Meyer was up there, she said that, Don was the leader. He definitely was the one in charge. And maybe during that time, they needed that. And Nana would know. Nana is in contact with them a lot more often than I am. Um, I mean, they seemed to be fine, but, Don had just gotten out and all of that. So maybe he was a little more subtle around us. I don't know.
She was, and I'm not sure why. She said she doesn't know why either. However, a couple of people close to the family have said that came from Don and Candace. So for whatever reason, they said they're allowed to dictate that.
I mean, do we all
And
know the difference between an opinion, a theory, and a fact?
I don't think
I don't
so.
think I don't think we do. I mean, an opinion is just what you think. Like you've added up what you think, and then that's your opinion. And a theory is using the facts in the case to gather a theory. But a theory, is something that could eventually turn into a fact. My theory is this based on facts. Your opinion can be based on anything. It could be based on Dawn talking crazy on the internet or something somebody told you. But a fact is totally different. A fact is an actual fact. It's been stated, and it is a fact, right? It's an actual thing. I don't think people get that. They're just like, no, that's a fact. No, it is not a fact. You can say it is. I mean, I can also say that the sky's, purple and red tonight, but it's not. I was just saying that last night. People think their opinions are fact. It's so strange. It's the strangest thing I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, I've heard
I
people
don't
say,
know.
"Oh, I know, I know that the family had something to do with it." Really?
Right. Yeah. Oh, the children were beaten now. Okay. Right.
Yeah. Every picture, bruises, bruises. Summer wasn't given a spoon.
And then you posted the picture.
I'm like,
Kills
that looks
me.
like a spoon to me. So then they decided that the kids shouldn't
Be
all be putting their
outside.
spoons in the same ice cream because of all the germs. I'm like,
Right.
really? I let my cat lick out of the carton of ice cream I'm eating. There it is.
Yeah. My 14-year-old pit bull eats off my fork. So there's that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, what? You
When
know,
you're a kid, who's really concerned with germs and ice cream?
nobody. You could tell. I mean, they're in shorts and a bathing suit and they got spoons and they're eating the ice cream, man. That's what you do. Do you remember when we were young and you used to open fire hydrants? I mean, maybe that's a Boston thing. I don't know. But it couldn't have been clean.
Oh
Okay.
yeah,
You're in the street with
we
fire
drink out of the
hydrants.
garden hose that was laying in the dirt. Pick it up. Well, like I said, we'd go in the fields and pick cucumbers, potatoes, tomatoes, and eat them with the dirt on them. I mean,
Uh, I'm telling you, it's like I don't know what in the world. You'll see it on Facebook. The parents driving the station wagon, smoking in the car. The kids have no seatbelt on. Nobody was worried. Nobody was worried. And now we're like,
yeah,
you got to put a bubble around the child. And I mean, I get it. Summer's head was shaven. People hated that. The boys' heads were shaven. People hated that. I understand. I mean,
yeah,
it's not comfortable to look at, but we also don't know the ins and outs of the whole situation, right? I mean, that doesn't
right.
matter. The
I
house is
mean,
not okay. But
we're not
but they
sticking
worked on
up
the
for
house.
them, but
Yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah, they
even
did. Yeah,
so. Yeah, they worked on the house. People were
they
upset
did.
with that.
Yeah. Um,
They didn't like that either. Oh,
yeah,
people
we're
gave
not
them
we're
money
not
to work on
sticking
their
up for them.
house? Okay.
I know.
No. You got
Hi,
to stick up for
Trev.
facts.
Hey, Trev
That's
time.
the whole
Welcome.
thing.
The strange
You know?
obsession with the CPS case happening. Yeah, exactly. And I know somebody was trying to dig into Warren's case and find that victim. I thought that was disgusting. Um, I'm like, it was a minor who has been traumatized, and she doesn't need her situation made public.
No.
Um, we don't know that they beat the kids. Yeah, Trev.
Oh,
Love it.
I don't know. I can't. This is one of the reasons I stopped going live and debunking the craziness because people are so sure of what they lived every day with the Wells. They're sure that the Wells did this and that, and they knew that there were rats the size of cats. I mean, they just knew everything. So you can't convince everybody, and I don't want to. Um, we know that they drink. We know that there's some serious issues there. We also know CPS was involved and had not taken the kids up until the point that Summer went missing. You know, um, we know those things. Anything else other than what TBI has put out, this is about Summer, and the Wells haven't been arrested. So unless you guys know something we don't, until the Wells are arrested, I'm not going to attack people who, there's simply no need. There are enough channels already doing that. So
Yeah.
protecting her privates. How do you explain the pics of protecting her?
I didn't
Okay.
really
Well,
see that. And I remember a lady that said, "Oh my God, my daughter, I was just taking her picture and she had her hands in that same position, and I told her not to." She didn't want to be.
Yeah.
She wanted to be accused of abusing her
Imagine
daughter.
if your hand is anywhere near your waist down area. It's like, no, they're protecting their what? What? Where the fuck do people come up with this stuff? I just don't understand. The school confirmed that the child was registered for school. You know, they had their physicals, their shots, da 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 da. CPS had previously been involved. So you're telling me that you, based on a photo, made a whole situation where she was definitely sexually molested, abused, this, that, and the third. CPS missed it. The doctor missed it as well. But you saw a photo, and now we know the whole truth because you saw a photo. Is this real life? Like, other people who are professionals, who are paid to make sure these kids are okay, didn't see those things, because immediately they would have taken them if there was any sign of that, right? They didn't take them, but you saw a photo, and her hands were near her private area, and she must have been protecting herself from her father.
Roxanne, we're not supporting the Wells. We're just going on facts. We don't want to make assumptions about things. And, there aren't any facts about a lot of things here.
Well, Rebecca, is it a fact someone had a physical? Yes. Yeah, it is. It is.
Oh,
Yeah.
hi, Hazel. Yes, tribalism is a good. Yes. And, yeah, I don't know if people just don't want to investigate or what, but Kim, I absolutely agree. And Brandy Neal asked that people not put any essay allegations on Michael. And I wish people would not do that with Summer either. That I thought that was a doctored call, wasn't it? The one saying he was tried to rape her or whatever.
Yeah, that was not true.
That wasn't, if you listen to the real call, that was not in there.
No. And the police came. That she was on the phone with the police.
Yeah.
So do you think that if that was said, the police wouldn't have checked into that? I mean.
Yeah, Summer did have a physical. There's a picture of her at the doc. And I have pictures of her at the dentist 2 or 3 times because she's in different clothing.
Well, the school verified it too. They went and interviewed them.
They did, absolutely. This man on panel is rude. That's Tracy. It's not a man.
No, same thing. It's fine. How do you know anything about CPS? Oh, we have enough information. I don't need to tell you what information I have. Thanks, though.
Yeah. Let's see. How do you know anything about
the man on the panel? I love that.
You have a rogue mod? I haven't seen you. You haven't been timed out or anything, have you? Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't think I have a rogue mod. My mods know what I can put up with and not. I mean, we don't time anybody out or block anybody except for Beverly. Hey, Rennie Fox. Hi. Jam 420. Hello. Okay. Yes, I agree. TBI. There's a reason why TBI won't release, I'm assuming, information about the timeline. They sure don't give us much. I kind of think, I wish they would give us a little bit, but must be they already know everything they need to know. Don't need any input from us.
Right.
Chris, yeah. Chris is blocking people
Oh.
behind my back. You two are Bolivius, I don't know what that means, and want recognition for supporting Don and Candace and Grandis. I've never supported any of them. I've posted a lot of their criminal record online. Yeah, I don't think
It
either one
has
of us support
nothing.
them.
No, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that there are people leading professionals who could give us insight down the wrong roads for their own reasons. Makes no sense. Stick to the facts. Stop making up stories. Stop making up your own stories when you don't even know. You're just making up stories.
And so what if you did support them? Well, we don't know. Like I said, if she walked out of the woods tomorrow, I would not be surprised. And that's a fact. Because we literally know nothing for sure. I have my opinion. I have my theory. But that's all.
Yeah, we all do. We all have an opinion on it, but our opinions don't mean shit. What are you going to get with your opinion? Nothing.
Right.
What good is your opinion? It's not. Most of it's just hate anyway. So what's the point of it?
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of polarization in this case, isn't there?
A lot, yeah. JM says with the court order, the parents really don't have options except to follow the parenting plan. Exactly. Yep. And didn't they say JM's an attorney? I thought that's what somebody said.
I don't know. Well, you can support them, Jingle Bart. So does Manna for Life. There's people in here that think some are still alive. You can have that opinion in here. Hi, Short Note Carrie. Love ya. Glad to see ya. Hi, Matt. Okay. So that about covers my Chris McDonough opinion.
There you go. Well, this man here is going to jump back in the chat, and I'm going to listen to you go over Mary's call.
See you later, dude.
Gosh. I know. Later, man. Thanks for having me up, Lisa.
Oh, hey, thanks for coming up. Oh. Is that Jam? Hi, Renee Marie. I don't think I said hello to you. Okay, now we're going to go on to the read-through of Theresa's interview with Mary. This is the first one. There are 3, and the third one just covers the call, the prank call. So I'm not going to go over that. I think that's been covered enough. Oh, Jam. I guess I don't know Jam. Wish all the Cash Apps stop. Yeah, there's no Cash App here, so I can't tell you. Okay, so this is Theresa's interview with Mary. Okay, they had a little problem. Okay, so today I heard that the boys were taken by CPS yesterday morning. I don't know the reasoning yet. I don't know if it's the living conditions or just everything that was going on. Midwest EquiSearch was searching. Okay, so let me get down to, they're going to have Don's stepsister Mary come on and speak. She knew Don since she was 5 years old and was very close with him, and then he moved away. And then he went back recently in August with one of the boys and became close again, so she has a lot of info on the backstory and all. Okay, so let me get down here to where Mary comes on. Okay. So she met Don when she was about 4 years old. And this came about when her mom, if there's something in chat here that I need to know, somebody yell at me somehow. Her mom answered a babysitting ad. Lips, can you put Tracy's up again, please? The link to her channel. Her mom, which is Patricia, who's now married to Don's dad, answered a babysitting ad for Don's parents. And so she started babysitting Donnie and his two sisters when they were probably 3 or 4 years old, or 2, 3, and 4. And that's how this came about. Then as the months or years went on, probably about a year or so later, my mom and Donnie's dad ended up starting seeing each other. And so then they didn't get married until I was probably 11. Okay, so they dated for quite a while. They were actually both still married in the first when they were seeing each other. And then they got divorced 4 or 5 years later. So it escalated and went from there. So how many kids did your mom have? And how many children did Don's dad bring into the family? Okay, Mary said then my mom had 6 children, and then Don's dad has 3, which is Don, Sonia, and Heidi. Okay, then you guys were all young at the same time. Was there anybody that was older and already grown and leaving? Yes, my older sister and my brother. I had my oldest sister, Debbie. She was out and married and on her own by the time Donnie's dad and my mom got married. And then also my older brother, which is 1 year younger than Debbie, he was out on his own too. So it was just 4 of my kids and then 3 of my stepdad's kids. So what's the age difference between you and Don? She said, Donnie and I are about a month apart. My birthday is in October and his is in November of 64. Okay, so how was it when you guys combined families? Mary said it was really hard at first because there was a lot of kids. And when my mom and dad first got married and got together, they bought a little trailer and it was just 2-bedroom. So it was kind of hard because in the 1 bedroom, my mom and dad's, and then they had my little sister Jeannie and with them in a crib in a little bed at the foot of their bed. And then in the 2nd bedroom, we had 2 sets of bunk beds. And then the rest of the kids just slept on the front room floor and like the couch and chairs because there was a lot of kids and not enough room. But it was kind of hard when we first started getting together and growing up. So there was a lot of kids in a small place. There was a big outdoors where you guys were able to go out and do a lot of things. Oh yeah, we were always outside playing. So how was your relationship with Don and Don's siblings? It actually was pretty good because like I said, we knew them before they got together, or actually got together and started living together and got married. We grew up with them from about the age of 4 or 5. So it wasn't too bad because we knew each other. So you guys were all friends. Did you go to the same school? Yes, actually we did when we were younger, when my mom first started babysitting Donnie and his 2 sisters. We all went to the same elementary school, except for the older kids on my mom's side. So how was the relationship like with the exes? You were saying that both your parents were married at the time they first met. So was like your dad around, and then was his mom around? Well, no, not really. I mean, I hate to say it, but Donnie's mom did a lot of drugs, a lot of cocaine and stuff back when the kids were little. I remember my stepdad telling us that his wife, Donnie's mom, had done a lot. She took a lot of pills, I guess back then, but that was back in the 70s, so I don't know. I just know that a lot of doctors prescribed a lot of pills to women back then, like Valium and all that stuff. So then my dad and my mom and dad's marriage was rocky from the time I was small. I mean, I didn't really even know my real dad until I was about 10 years old. I just kind of knew he was a man that came home every once in a while, So Theresa said then Don's dad was like your dad. And she said, yes, Don's dad has been a lot better of a father to me than my real dad ever was. And he still lives close to you, correct? Not in Tennessee by Donnie. Yes, my mom and dad live just maybe 15 minutes from me. You know how Don was as a child growing up. Was he typically a good boy, or was he a boy that liked to get into trouble, playing in the mud? Well, he did get into a lot of trouble when he was younger. He was pretty mischievous. For example, when he was 5 years old, I believe him and his sister were out in the barn playing with matches, and they burnt my dad's barn down. Horses died, cattle died, goats died. It was a big fire. Yeah, they were just playing with fire out there, and there's a lot of hay and stuff in there, and it just caught fire. So, people say Don burned the barn down and was killing animals at a young age. Don and his sister were in the barn playing with matches. I think that's something a lot of kids do. My apartment building actually caught fire from a 4-year-old playing with matches, so I don't think they deliberately said it, although I don't know, but Mary didn't sound like she thought they deliberately said it. Do you remember, like, the teenage years, like how that was? Did you know Donnie was pretty much always around, through the teenage years? When he hit about 15 or so, he started to get into trouble. He started stealing from stores and, stuff like that, and getting into trouble. You know how, of course, you couldn't go to jail 15 or 16, 17 years old, but we had a place down here in Roy, Utah. It was called Lolita, and that's where they would take unruly teenage kids and put them in there for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, however long it took to try and get them on the right track. Then how old was Don when he got married the first time? You don't have to say his ex-wife's name or his children. Mary said, I'm trying to think when he got married. I think it probably would have been 84, 85, because his oldest son, little Donnie, I believe he was born the same year as my son, which was in 86. And then you were close to him at that time? Still like when he had his two oldest children? Yeah, well, actually, him and his ex-wife used to come over to me and my ex-husband's house all the time when his two oldest kids were little. They were always coming to our house, and I visited them at least 3 times a week or so. So Theresa said, so you were close with him and your niece and nephew? Oh, yeah. I mean, pretty much everybody in the family were always stopping by their house whenever they lived there. They were always at my mom's house, and we were always over there trying to help them out with the kids. As he got older then, there's been a lot of speculation about the 2 older children, and I'm hoping that maybe you'll be able to clear any of it up if it's not something you can talk about, by all means, just say so. There's a lot of rumors that he tried to sell his 2 older children at one point. Right, now it wasn't the 2 oldest children, it was his oldest son. And what happened is his ex-wife had come to my mom's house with the 2 kids, and I think little Donnie, his oldest, was only about 2 years old at the time, I think. And anyway, she came in and said that she had just caught Donnie downtown trying to sell his son for drugs. He was 2 at the time, and he was really into a lot of drugs at that time, so obviously that didn't happen. So was there any help that was given after that? Because the other rumors that the 2 older children were seen in very bad condition. Which, I mean, the stuff on social media gets out of control sometimes, really? Yeah. And you know how there's maggots in their diapers, and right. They were growing up in the house. The house was always messy. I always tried to help the kids when they were babies and stuff. I tried going over there, and every time I would pass their house or just going to the store, I would stop and check on them so I could bathe them and dress them in clean clothes and change their diapers and feed them, because I really don't think that Donnie's ex-wife really knew how to take care of children. She said that she had kids before, like 5 or 6 before that all got taken from her. So when she had 2 kids with Donnie, she just wasn't a very good housekeeper. So, I don't think she really even knew how to keep house. She didn't know how to cook, and she didn't know how to take care of the babies after they were born. I would go over there, and little Donnie would be laying in the crib with his bottle propped up at 2 weeks old. And it's like, no, dude, you can't do that. You have to hold them when you feed them and stuff. She just wouldn't really listen. She just went on and done her own thing. And Theresa said when she was very young. No, actually, she's about 10 years older than Donnie. She's probably about 65 now. Okay, did those kids, the 2 older kids of Don's, was there a lot of CPS? I don't know if it's called CPS where you are. Oh yeah, we always tried calling CPS and stuff. Everybody in the family, because we felt sorry for the kids. But CPS would just never do anything. I don't understand, but there was one time they did make Donnie's ex-wife take a parenting class or something. They were trying to teach her how to cook and parent and stuff, because there did come a point when they were going to take them once, but she had to agree to take these parenting classes and stuff. Okay, let me look at. Yeah, there was a lot of. We're Summer. We don't always agree, but yeah, there was a lot of BS last night. Oh, Roxanne Polk. Can we take that comment out? I can't delete comments without blocking someone, so. Okay, what did I? We're gonna get to that a little later, but yeah, the story that was told doesn't really match up with dates. So where can we find the receipt for what's being read? Hi, cow lady. You can't, as far as I know. I have the video here because I have a link to it, but it's unlisted. And the channel it was originally on has privated it. So it's not publicly available. But I'm reading it right from the transcript, so. Hi, cow lady. Yes, that is correct. And I am not allowed to say that channel's name. But we all know Theresa. Can somebody put Theresa's channel link on here, please? CriminaliTy. Theresa did these interviews, and so yes, I'm just reading the transcript. And this is with Mary Hartman, Don's stepsister. Okay, so Donnie didn't have to take the parenting class. I just know that his ex-wife ended up having to, and I think she only took a couple of classes. And if they ever came to try and take the kids or check up on them, they would just leave and move somewhere else. And then we wouldn't hear from them for a couple of months or so. Then all of a sudden they would start coming around again. And it's like, well, where are you guys? Where do you live? And so how are the kids? Everybody in the family was feeling really bad. We wanted to do everything we could to help them. And even me and my ex-husband even tried adopting Donnie's little girl. Thank you, Eve. Yeah, everybody, please be respectful in chat. Everybody, everybody can have an opinion, and all our opinions are different. But just don't, okay, Carla, Carla will be back in a little while. Carla's going to take a short break. And there we go. He made me put someone in timeout. I can't believe that. Okay. Donnie's little girl, her name was Margie, and we tried adopting her when she was 3 years old. They needed money really bad, and we didn't agree with the way they were raising their kids. I talked to my husband, and I said, well, let's try and offer him some money and adopt Margie. They were, I don't know, some people are just bored, I guess. Gavel geeks. Yeah, Carla's taking a short break. Okay, wait a minute. I'm looking at chat now. Why don't they want it played? There was a parting of the ways between Theresa and that channel, so they took the interviews down. 2 of them are back up, I believe, or were the last time I looked. I think the David Dodson one was up, and one of the other ones, I'm not sure. Yeah, Chris. Behavior, I'll take your wrench. Mary should be mad at her mom and stepdad as much as Don. Yeah, I don't think they were around much. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. Some people just have they're very set in their opinion. And they don't want anything that challenges that. So, I guess that gets them upset. Okay, so they're going to offer him, Mary and her husband at the time were going to adopt Margie. They offered Don and Pam some money. They were going to do it. Donnie was all for it, but they had to come over one night to sign the papers. And Donnie's ex-wife wanted to keep coming over and seeing Margie, and she wanted to take her and stuff. And I said, no, if we adopt her, she's going to be ours, and you have no contact with her at all. She didn't want to do that. So pretty much felt right. Did you witness any abuse, like any heavy-hand abuse or any form of abuse in the home when you were a child or as an adult with his children? No, nothing. Not really like him hitting them or anything. I never seen any of that. But just, the kids were dirty. They always had dirty clothes or dirty diapers. I don't know so much as to where maggots were in the diapers. I never saw that. But they were dirty. The kids were dirty. They just lived in yucky conditions. Oh, don't get carried away, lips. Really. If they're nasty, yeah, please do, but don't get carried away. You know what I want. Okay, did you see as Donnie and his wife got older and the children got older, did you see a change at all? Not really. I mean, when the kids started getting older and stuff, because their kids were kind of around my kids' age, I think, like I said, little Donnie was my son's age and Margie was a little younger. But as they grew and stuff, I would always go over there and offer her clothes from the kids, from my kids' hand-me-downs, so they would have better clothes than they did. So how did it go when they split? How did the children do? Well, it was hard because they split up. Donnie went his way and she went the other way, and she took the kids with her. She didn't have Donnie, didn't have the kids. I remember she would take off to Arkansas and Kentucky. She would constantly move around. I would go to my mom's and ask her if she heard anything from her or anything like that. There was one time when I can't remember where she was living or where the kids were, but my mom had got a call from the state, wherever she was, and they were telling her that the kids had been going to school, they had lice, and they had scabies. So I guess when they found out that where the kids were with all this stuff going on, apparently they went to take the kids home, and she was living in an abandoned home with no walls or something. And I think they were living there for a couple of months. I had asked Donnie once if she had been homeless or anything, and he said, yeah, that she was homeless when he met her. And even to this day, I still see her out on the streets, down here in Ogden. She's homeless right now. She's living in a shelter, and she begs for money and food. And, every once in a while, she'll go to my mom's. Okay, how about... Yes, this was her first interview. Thank you. How about your niece and nephew? Now, little Donnie, I see him probably a couple of times a month or so. He lives down here in Ogden, just not too far from one of my sisters. And so I did see him quite a bit at my mom's and his wife and their kids. So yeah, but Margie, I'm not sure where she's living right now. She's married and she's had a couple of kids, I think, of on her own. But yeah, I haven't been in touch with Margie. I haven't seen her in probably at least 15 years or so. So when did Donnie move away? My brother Donnie, not my nephew Donnie. Oh gosh, it's been like 25 years ago when he left. Okay, so have you ever actually met Candace or any of the children that they have together? I have never met Candace, but before Josie, I did meet him when Donnie came down here. I believe it was probably in about August or so, because he was here for 3 months and then he left in October. Monetized? Is somebody saying I'm making money? How can I do this for money? Carla? Okay. Carla's. I put Carla in the thinking chair so she can reflect on her attitude. Yes, the story has certainly changed, yes, and we will see that in time. Making money. Oh my goodness. Okay. So Donnie came with his oldest son, and he stayed there for 3 months. Yes, Candace wasn't with him. It was just Josie and him. Was it a planned trip? No, not really, because I got a call from my mom, and she goes, oh, Donnie's here. I said, what? And she goes, yeah, Donnie's here. And I said, oh, well, that's cool. And then, I don't know, about 4 or 5 hours later, I went over there, and there he was. And then I went to the house with my mom, and I said, well, what's he doing here? And she goes, I don't know. He just showed up. I said, okay. And then I was talking to Donnie a little bit later, and I said, what are you doing here? And he said, well, I want to move back here. I really miss Utah. And I said, okay, well, what about your wife? Oh, hi, Toaster Oven. Hi, Holler Creek boys. I was going to say, Wisconsin Mama, what's wrong with KU's husband? I did see that note when we were talking about something else. We certainly want to keep him in our prayers, as well as Tilly. Can you tell us an update on Tilly, maybe? Yeah, they were fine. Okay, I went to the house with my mom. All right. He said, I want to move back. I really miss Utah. And I said, okay, well, what about your wife and your other kids? And he goes, oh, they're back in Tennessee. They're packing up the house. She's putting the house up for sale. And once she gets sold, I'm going to go back and get her and the kids and bring them down here. I was like, okay, well, that's cool. So, yeah. Did he want one son and not the others? Okay, and there, Melissa is asking why they didn't end up moving to Utah. Melissa was Teresa's co-host in this interview. Well, Don told me, and which is a true fact, is that housing has skyrocketed here in Utah. I mean, just like a year ago or 2 years ago, you could get a house for probably about $200,000, and today that house is going to cost you $600,000. And so him living in Tennessee, he said he could only get maybe $50,000 or $60,000 out of his home in Tennessee, which wouldn't get him far if he were to move down here. And I did see a post Candace put up. I don't remember the date. I don't know if you remember, Theresa, but she was looking to sell her home. I believe it was in March 2020. And I think it was for $7,000 or $70,000. It was $70,000. I have a copy of that. Donnie said they were putting their house up for sale and they were going to move here. But once he got here and seen how the housing crisis was, he kind of freaked out. Like, there isn't any way. So his mom left him the property in Tennessee when she passed away, correct? Yes. Do you know how much land there was that was left? And do you happen to know, were they going to sell it if they ended up selling any of the property, like the acreage? I don't know. When he got here, he just said they were putting the house up for sale and they were going to move here. I don't know what his plan was, because I know that I had talked to Mom once and she was just bitching up a storm. And I'm like, what's going on? And she goes, well, Donnie thinks that he's going to move his wife and kids and the mother-in-law all down here and live with us. And I'm like, what, in the house with Mom and Dad? Yeah. And I was like, well, I hope you set him straight, told him that wasn't going to happen because there's no way. But she was kind of upset about that, so I don't know if Donnie had talked to them about it. I'm guessing he must have. Said, I'm thinking of moving the family in with you guys. And I told my mom, I said, you can't let that happen. There's no way that can happen. So he got there at the beginning or end of August, was there for 3 months, and left in October. And Theresa said, did you ever get to talk to the other kids? Or, like when he was like when you were around and he was like on the phone with them or anything? Well, when he was down here with Josie, I tried to talk to Josie and stuff. He wouldn't say much, and I asked my mom, I'm like, what's going on with him? Why won't he talk to me? And she goes, I don't know. I guess he's just really shy. But I went over there one time and Josie was in my mom's house watching cartoons or something on TV. And I was trying to talk to him. And Donnie came in. He had just got off work and he got really mad at Josie because he was in the house. And I was like, well, he's good. He don't have to go, because Donnie was staying in a motorhome in the driveway of my mom's. So that's where him and Josie were staying, out there in the motorhome. But Donnie got really upset at me because I was trying to talk to him. I don't know why he didn't like that. Was it about something specific, or he just didn't want you talking to him at all? I think he didn't want me talking to him. I was just asking him how old he was and what grade he was in and how school was doing and stuff like that. Theresa said, did you ever see him doing like schoolwork? Because August, October was the beginning of the school year, even though we had restrictions and most kids did it online. Did you ever see him doing schoolwork? Right, no, I never did see him doing schoolwork. Donnie said that he had enrolled him, and my mom also told me that he had enrolled him in school. Sonia also said that, Don. I'm just adding this in. This isn't part of it. Sonia also said that Josie was enrolled in school. But my mom said there was quite a few days that Donnie would get up and go to work, and of course he's at work. He don't know, but Josie would never go to school. So Theresa said, Don got a job while he was at your parents' house? Yes, he sure did. Was it like a permanent job or just like some odds and then like handiwork? Because I know he does drywall and stuff. Was it like friends or, she said, I think he was working for a contractor up in Park City somewhere. I think Park City is a pretty exclusive place. So did you ever get to have a conversation with Josie? Not really. He wouldn't talk to me. He just acted like he was really withdrawn and really shy. Okay, I'm looking at chat a minute. Yes, okay, to go off the transcript a minute. Yeah, I agree. And I'm not sure if we talk about it here or later, but Mary said that her parents have a reverse mortgage on the house, and so after her dad dies, that there really isn't going to be anything left to split up, because I think a reverse mortgage is you literally have sold your house, right, and gotten the money for it, and then when you die, it's gone, I believe. If that's not correct, yes, they owe more than it's worth. Oh, sure. No, Carrie, hi. I said hi to you. It's always happy to see you. Hi, Charlie B. Glad you're back. Gavel has the truth of what all was said at first. Yes, she's factual too. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's what I thought. I think so. That is what Mary said. I'm not sure if it was in this interview or the next one. Okay, so did you ever hear anything about marital issues with him and Candace during that time? No, I didn't hear anything about marital issues until Donnie left here. And about 4 days after he left, my dad got a call from Donnie. He was in jail. He said that he just got through beating up some guy that Candace had living in the house. I don't think he beat him up or hit him. He threw a bottle at him, right? The incident report said Don was hitting himself in the face. Okay, so he got in trouble for fighting with this guy that was living with there. While he was up here, and then I guess he found out about that guy living there, was when he stopped here. He got home and found the guy in the house, and then he beat the crap out of him. Candace called the cops on Donnie. So, yes, Lips, that was Jose. So did you ever talk to Donnie about his relationship with his other children, Summer specifically? No, not really. Okay, so he goes back down, and there's some marital issues with some guy, Jose, living in the house. Do you guys stay in contact? Are you guys in contact now, like frequent contact? Do you talk every once in a while? I don't. I pretty much get my information from my mom because Donnie calls my dad at least once a week. When did you first hear about Summer going missing? It was, I believe, 2 days after she went missing. My sister had posted a thing on her Facebook saying, please pray for my niece. She's been missing for a couple of days. Hi, Annabella's honeys. Hi, Tam. I'm sorry I'm not, I'm not really able to read this, and I'm trying to keep up with chat. Okay. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. I was really upset about it. So yeah, it was a couple days after this. The sister that had issues with Don when they were young. No, this is another sister. Okay, she's talking about Jeannie. And she didn't hear it from Jeannie. She's saying that this was another sister that posted it on Facebook. Okay, so you basically heard about it on Facebook, yeah, through my sister. And then I called my mom and I was like, what's going on? And she said that the day she disappeared, I guess Donnie called my dad and was telling him, you know, my daughter's missing. So did he say what happened? He didn't. Well, I'm sure he told my dad, but I haven't asked my dad about that. So I don't know the conversation. I just know from what my mom said. My mom just said that he had called and said Summer's missing. So has he been keeping your parents in the loop of what's been happening since then? Oh, yeah. He calls my mom, my dad, yeah. And what do your parents think of what's going on? They're very upset about it. You know, my dad is just, oh my gosh, he's going crazy over it. And my mom, she just don't know what to do. You know, they're older. My mom's 77 and my dad's 84 or 85. My dad's probably 90% bedridden for the last year. And my mom can barely get up and walk around. They both have Alzheimer's and my mom has dementia. She takes pills for. But you know, all this information and stuff they're getting from Donnie, and he's calling him. It's just not a good thing. So have you heard any other details about what Donnie's saying? I mean, has anybody talked to you about that? Not really. I talked to my sisters and stuff about it, you know. Like I keep trying to tell everybody because they keep asking me, well, what do you think happened to her? And it's like, no, gosh, I have no clue. I mean, I wish I did, but I just don't know. Like I said, I can speculate like everybody else. I just have no clue. No, everyone's saying that Don ran away or took off. Can you clear that rumor up for everyone? This is when he disappeared for 2 or 3 days. I know that would have been October, I believe, because Benny was there and they tried to get the law enforcement to track his phone, which they said they couldn't do. Okay, so I don't know because, like I said, I've heard it, but I don't know for sure. I had just heard the rumor that Candace had told one reporter at the park that day that Donnie, she had woke up and Donnie was gone. Well, my mom and dad had been trying to get a hold of Donnie all that day, and actually the day before that, and they couldn't. But my mom said that Donnie told her there wasn't good cell service there. And I said, well, I read on Facebook that he took off last night. Is that true? And she goes, I don't know. We can't find it. He won't answer his phone. And then later on, I had went to my other sister's house, and she said she was telling me that she had heard that, I think her name's Robin, from the church. She had heard that Robin had got a hold of Donnie and talked him into coming back home. So I don't know if that's true or not. It's just what I've heard. And Theresa said that's the same as we've heard so far, but no confirmation on whether he actually left or was just gone for like a day and then came home. Right, I have no clue. So then I have a question about Don with the church. Has he always been religious, or is this something new since Summer disappeared? No, he's never been religious. The only time that Donnie ever gets religious, through my experience from growing up with him, was when he would get in trouble or something, or get out of jail, or get out of prison. And he's like, oh, I've been reading the Bible, and this is the way to go. And I'm like, really proud of you. That's awesome. But then he had some jailhouse religion. Yeah, a couple of weeks later, a month later, he would just be back in the same boat. He would be doing drugs and back in jail again. So when he was up there from August to October, did you witness any type of drug use? Oh, well, yeah, he smoked a lot of weed. And like I said, actually, and also my dad, on top of Alzheimer's, has stage 4 kidney cancer. I can't believe his dad is still alive. 2.5 years later, when he's bedridden with Alzheimer's and stage 4 kidney cancer. That's puzzling. Okay, the doctor told him a couple of weeks ago that he's got less than a year to live. He smoked marijuana for the pain, and he does have a medical marijuana card, but Donnie's always stealing his marijuana. Okay, so the big question is then, have you heard about where the boys are? Currently, yeah, I talked to my mom yesterday, and she said Donnie had called, and he was crying to my dad, and he was saying yes. It came to his 3 boys, and he was blaming it on, I don't know if I should say her name. Well, she's posted about it on Facebook. Trish, because of the things she said on Facebook, and my sister Jeannie. That's your niece and your sister. Yes. And then I guess he also started blaming stuff on my daughter. And I was like, on your daughter? And I was like, Mom, Amanda has nothing to do with this. I don't understand what he's saying, because my daughter hasn't said nothing, or anything on Facebook or any of them pages for Summer or anything. And so that was kind of where I was just thinking, well, it must be a different Amanda then, because it's not my daughter, because my daughter would definitely tell me, well, what did he say, why the boys were taken? He said he thinks it's because of Jeannie and Trish putting all that stuff on Facebook. Okay, just more Don crap, apparently. About him molesting and raping my sister and stuff. Donnie thinks that's why he took his kids. But basically, that's, were they supposed to come and take the children prior to Summer disappearing? That's another thing I heard. My one sister told me that CPS, actually the day Summer went missing, CPS was coming to take all 4 of the kids. And they were told, we'll be here on June 15th to pick up the children. And I guess I believe so, because my sister had talked to Candace, and that's what Candace has told her, that they were coming to pick them up. Okay, one question with that is, they didn't come, right? I mean, if they were coming the 15th, why didn't they come? They wouldn't have known that. I mean, they could have come and taken the boys. That never made sense to me. Okay, they were coming to take the kids that day, but with Summer ending up missing, they kind of dropped taking the kids. Okay, that doesn't make any sense to me either. If they were going to come and take all 4 kids, and one of them turned up missing, yeah, I think they'd grab those other 3 kids out of there, wouldn't they? But this is just my thought. Okay, thank you, Gavel Geeks. I had not heard Amanda before. I do have screenshots of Trish. I guess I should go back over there. Mary is Don's stepsister. Her mother married Don's father. Okay, where are we? Exactly. Yeah, I've ad-libbed 2 things. The one thing I said was I was ad-libbing, and this about the kids. Okay. I kind of think they dropped taking the kids because of all that was going on. So then what would have been the reasoning for the kids getting taken prior to Summer disappearing if it wasn't for your sister and niece saying those things on social media? And Mary said, right, well, I think it's just because their house was always messy and the kids were being neglected, I'm guessing. But, like I said, I don't know about the house being messy and stuff because I've never been there, So I'm just going off how he used to be. And, the kids are always dirty and everything. So I don't know, I'm just guessing. Also, I had heard that CPS had been there numerous times before Summer went missing. So we've heard that. We've heard that speculated that multiple people had called CPS and had them go out and check what was going on. Okay, so then Melissa asks, when you were talking to either parents or when done with Don at all, has there been any conversation about what you guys think happened? No, not really. I mean, there's been conversations between me and my sisters and stuff like that, and we kind of speculate on what might have happened, but I think there's more to this. And you know what I mean? I really think it all started when Donnie came down here. I don't know why, but I think it just has to tie in with everything. I don't know how to ask this. Have you guys, has anybody in your family that you know of asked them directly what happened? I know my dad has, and Donnie just told him exactly, pretty much what he's telling everybody else, that Candace called him and said Summer was missing, and he was at work, and he called 911. That's pretty much what he told my dad. So have you watched Don's interviews that he's done? I have. Does that seem like the Donnie that you know? Yeah, from the very first interview he done, I could tell that he had been crying. The one with Josie, his son. I could tell that he had been crying. His face was all red. His eyes were all, puffed up from crying. And so, I really do think he's probably sincere. I don't know. I don't think Donnie had anything to do with it. But like I said, I can just speculate like everybody else. Do you think that if CPS was coming that day to take the children, do you think they would have hidden Summer somewhere? Have you guys thought that might be an option, or is that something you think could happen? Yeah, we were kind of on the sidelines of that, talking, in the family, me and my sisters and stuff. I don't know. It's just I wish they could find her already. It has just been so devastating since all this happened. And, I try to get online and of course, I'm going to try to defend my family, about what everybody's talking about. And of course, you're going to try to defend your family. I'm not defending Donnie and Candace or anything. I'm not saying they did it. I'm not saying they didn't do it. I just have no clue. Theresa said, do you know by any chance if Candace's mom went back to Wisconsin or she's still in Tennessee? I have no idea. I don't know. Theresa said, I believe your sister is actually in chat too. And she thinks that it wasn't because of the social media posts, that nobody has actually been contacted for an interview from CPS. That's a good point. I don't know about that. I just know Donnie called my dad and said that they took his 3 boys yesterday and that he blames it on the social media posts. We definitely make that clear that Donnie is blaming it on the social media posts. We aren't necessarily agreeing that that would ever happen, right? He's blaming it on the post that my sister and niece put on there. Okay, Jeannie, thank you for being in the comments tonight. We really appreciate you too. Yeah, I can't see the comments on this, so. Okay, Jeannie did a super chat and said they don't remove kids for social media posts without proof. None of us have been contacted for an interview from CPS. Okay. What is she saying? Okay, I'm just gonna skip down. Looks like, are things getting rowdy in chat? Okay. She didn't say CPS was coming. Well, apparently she told Mary here, or Mary's saying that Candace said they were coming. Okay. A lot of people I think are just coming on. She has not met Candace or Summer. She met Donnie and Candace's older son when they were temporarily staying in August through October. I just wanted to make sure everyone knew that. Let's see, how did Don and Candace meet? Mary said, I have no idea. Did you know that they were together and they were having children? Like, did anybody talk to them? No. When he first met Candace, I remember going to my mom's, because I'm interested to know what he's doing and how he's getting along and stuff. And when he first met her and moved her in, I guess, and everything, they started to have kids. And, I was asking my mom, I'm like, so he found him a wife, huh? And I was saying, well, that's good. Maybe that's all he needed was a good woman to help him along. And you know what I mean? Because sometimes that's all it takes is a good woman to come along and give somebody like, that ain't doing too good and hasn't been good in their life to help turn them around. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, well, that's good because Donnie has been in and out of prison and jail since he was like 16 or 17 years old. And so that really, it made me happy to know that he found somebody and that she was keeping him in line, or so I thought. I thought it was a good thing, and I was like, okay, good. They're doing good. He's out of prison. He's got his mom's house. He's working. And I was really happy about that. Theresa said, so do you know if they're actually legally married? I don't have any idea. Do you know that Grandma Candace goes by Candy? Do you know anything about her? I don't know anything about her at all. I did see a few places that people were mentioning that there was another child after Summer. Mary said, yeah, I don't know. That's what my mom said, that they had given it up for adoption or something, but I had no clue. So was that what they were supposed to give up Summer for adoption, or that was another baby after that was given up for adoption? I think there was another baby that she had after Summer, but don't quote me on it because I'm not sure. Okay, that's what I heard, that she had another baby after Summer and they had given it up for adoption. Okay, let's see. Was it a boy or girl? Do you know? And no, she didn't answer. Were you ever told anything about Summer being nonverbal or having any type of disability? Yeah, actually, I was talking to my one sister, and she said Summer was kind of slow, in learning a little bit, so I think she did have a little bit of a disability. Okay, this is me talking. How would Mary's sister know that Summer was slow and had a disability? Because none of them knew Summer even existed before she went missing, right? Okay, now I'm back to the transcript. Did anybody ever say if she was nonverbal? Not that I know of. Okay, Melissa asks about Summer's hair being shaved. Do you know the reasoning why it was shaved? Was it lice? Was it because she wanted to be like her brothers? Okay, wait. Gavel Geeks, do you want to come up on panel? And talk? If you do, let me know and I'll drop a link. Because I think you have some information that you could add to this if you want to. Let me know. There's about half an hour of this left, I think. Yeah. Yes, I totally agree with that. Yes. Oh, good. Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Wisconsin Mama. Oh, no, you're not distracting me. I thought maybe you could add to the conversation. You could tell some of the facts that you know if you want. Let me see if I can drop a link. I'm not so handy at all this stuff. Well, that's not working. Okay, just a minute. Okay, there's a link. Yeah, there's a lot of things that people repeat from this. I mean, we know now that Candace had her tubes tied when Summer was born, so we know that there was not a baby after that. Hi, beautiful sunflower. Yes, toaster oven, that is absolutely the truth. If you say Don said or Candace said, I don't put much stock in that. Okay, hello.
Hey, Lisa, how are you doing?
Fine, how are you?
I'm good. I'm so sorry. I was like, oh no, I'm distracted from what you're trying to do.
Oh, no, I'm just reading through this, and if you want to add something, go ahead.
Okay, I'll listen with you.
Okay. Okay. So Melissa is asking about Summer's hair being shaved. Do you know the reason why it was shaved? Was it lice? Was it because she wanted to be like her brothers? Everybody's going back and forth with that, and I don't understand why. What I think, this is Mary, because I wasn't there, I don't know. I really do think it was because they had lice. Because Donnie's two oldest kids constantly had lice. And his wife, even his wife. I don't know about Donnie, but his ex-wife had like it really, really bad too. And she would just shave the kids' heads. She wouldn't even mess with shampoo or nothing. She would just shave him and completely off. Oh, here we're going to go. Oh, hi, Blonde PT. Oh, is Lips leaving? Okay, thanks. Thanks, Lips, for your help.
My lips.
Okay. Okay, where Summer said you have loads of priceless receipts. I would love to hear that. Yeah, I've got 23,000 screenshots myself and a few videos. Only I'm sure you have yours. I think you have yours organized and I don't.
Pretty much. It's really strange with this aspect of it. I really didn't pay much attention early on because while I felt bad for the sisters, it still felt like, okay, I know that now this is said to have happened. He admitted that they played house, right? And
Right.
so I was like, okay, I understand that. I get that part of it. The whole rest of it, I felt like was really a big distraction from Summer's case, and so I really didn't pay much attention. And it just continues to be a centerpiece of this. I know Chris says it was two trains on different tracks, but it hasn't been. It hasn't been. It keeps getting pulled into Summer's case, and so I kind of had to go back and get a lot of stuff. So, but this was like one aspect I really wasn't as interested in, early on.
Right, but now it's interesting to go back and see what was said then and what the story is now.
It at this point now, like I liked Chris a lot. I really did, but I think, like you said, tunnel vision.
Yes,
is really strong here, and I was very disappointed last night watching that because I was like, tell him how old he was when this happened, right? Because the psychology of that matters. It doesn't make it okay. It doesn't make it
right.
But the psychology of someone who would do that, that's what we wanted the doctor to tell us about. And in order to do that, you have to be honest and you have to have things in context. And I know they feel like Donna's responsible. I mean, I think that's obvious. But like things like, Josh was saying he wasn't, he didn't, I can't remember the word he used, but like he didn't bash Dawn or didn't go after Dawn. And I was like, really? Really? So it just seemed it seemed really overwhelming.
It's like he was feeding. I felt like he was feeding Dr. Gary his version of events and his
absolutely.
thoughts and wanting him to agree with them. He was kind of trying to lead him where he wanted him to go. And that kind of defeated the whole purpose of the interview.
It did, because Dr. Mercado had a lot of really good questions. And they those questions were kind of blown off or not completely answered because they make a difference. If he is a convicted RSO or a convicted SO, that makes a difference rather than he's been accused. Because people say he admitted to what he was accused of. He did not. He admitted to playing house, which in his mind is something different. And we're talking psychology at this point, right?
Right. And just Jeannie, as far as I know, just Jeannie, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I believe that. I have no issue. I totally.
Yeah, I do too. I believe Jeannie.
I just I think the doctor left there thinking that Don was in his 20s when that happened.
Yeah, because I think they said that.
A 5-year-old.
Yeah, they said that or alluded to that.
It's just not. If we want an accurate assessment, we have to be accurate in what we garbage in, garbage out, right? Regardless of the application or program that you're using. If you put in bad data, you're going to get out bad data.
Correct.
So,
yep.
that's how I saw that. It was just so disappointing because I really, really like him, and I really wanted to hear his thoughts. But they were interested in, the peeping Tom thing, which is accusations. To be fair, uh, being convicted, something being proven, is completely different than being accused of something. And
Well, yeah,
I
and
think
he even asked, he said, are these accusations or actual cases? And Chris was like, oh, yeah, they're actual cases. No, they're accusations at this point.
right. What Tracy was saying is completely correct. What his response to that was this weird, like, kind of word salad thing, where he was like, their cases, they passed the statute of limitations, right? Which is not true. Now, Mary's case may have fit into that category because of the type of crime that it was, but Jeannie's did not. If it hit the statute of limitations, they wouldn't even be looking into it. And if you look at the law, there is not, for a crime like what he is accused of, there is not a statute of limitations in Utah. It's very difficult to prove over time like that. But it's not a statute of limitations thing. So I'm curious of what.
Well, it's different with like Jared Lysick because he's able to be prosecuted because that was actually rape. But in this case, it isn't. So that's why they can't prosecute this. And I have heard that Jeannie said she wasn't going to lie and say it was repressed memory.
Right.
Because that would eliminate the statute of limitations if she claimed that.
Exactly. And Rebecca, you're absolutely right. The Red Panties is an actual case. And that is something that he would need to consider. He even mentioned that. He said, "Did you have any other things like, I think he said stealing panties or what was the other one? So about peeping Tom." And he's the panties are true. He was convicted of
right.
That. The peeping Tom is an accusation,
right,
by the neighbor. And I think Mary at some point says that he used to go as a peeping Tom, but he also used to steal things, and he also used to do things to animals. And there's a whole, we just can't. I'm not saying she's not telling the truth, just saying there's nothing to back that up. All we know is what we can pull out of records where he was convicted. And it matters. It matters if he accidentally caught the barn on fire while playing with matches.
Right.
That's different than killing animals.
Yes, it absolutely, or deliberately burning the barn down.
Right. Right. And I don't know what his intent was. I have no way of knowing that.
No.
But people carry it in all kinds of weird directions.
Well, yeah, and Sonny was there too, but nobody accuses her of killing animals or burning a barn down.
Right. Right.
I mean, Gene, he didn't say he did all that stuff. He said he did it with Jeannie.
Right.
But he didn't admit that I've heard anything else.
No, the situation, early on, he said, "I saved you." Like when they were on the call, the recorded call that she recorded, and said, "Oh,
do you have that?
I would never record you." Yeah, I got it. But he's like, "Donnie, I would never record you. That's crazy." While she's recording him. But, and I get it. But after that, when that call was presented, it was, Chris said that he coached her through that, and she was very brave for doing it, and she didn't have to do it. I was like, what are you guys doing? Even back then, I was like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, I saw him coaching. Wasn't it Brandy Neal? I saw a thing where he was telling someone how to approach their story, and no, don't say this. You need to say this, and
Mm-hmm.
always leading,
I've seen that before. Yeah.
always leading people, trying to control the narrative.
Yeah. It was last night was that's the worst I've seen personally for me. That was the worst I've seen, and I really did have a lot of respect for him. But and something that needs to be, if it's true and you know it because you're talking to other law enforcement, why are you putting it out? Right. And I even justified that early on, like maybe they're having him leak certain things. Right. That's a possibility, but it doesn't seem that way over time.
You mean law enforcement or the girls?
Yeah, law enforcement. Like he had some information about things like times on the 15th. Right. And at first I was like, well, he wouldn't put that out there if it wasn't true. Like, that's how I felt. I was pretty confident that was probably true. And at this point, I don't know anymore like, to think about.
I don't think they told him anything, actually.
I don't either, but he makes it sound that way.
I know.
There was one thing last night when Tracy and I were watching this, and he said, I imagine, or I think what, or I know what they told him. And then he says, like, the card team says, oh, you can't leave the hill because you haven't cleared the hill. Something, those exact words. But the way he said it, Tracy was like, did he just say that he talked to the card team? And I was like, no, he didn't. And it was really slick. He said, you know, but based off his knowledge, he would do this, right? But it really kind of slid in there. And I think even if it's not intentional by him, a lot of us, when we're listening, we're thinking we're hearing something we're not hearing.
Well, he did say they shared that TBI shared a share file with him, and he entered some stuff in it. I distinctly remember that. And that's when TBI said they were not working with Chris McDonell and never had been.
Yeah, yes. And he said it, it's like that. I believe he intentionally said that way to be.
Oh, yeah.
People thought that they were sharing information back and forth. All it was, you know, a share that they give anybody that needs to send in audio, video, or something like that. They'll go, okay, here's a URL that you could go put this in the Dropbox or whatever. That's all that was. But the way he worded it, it sounded more like they were sharing, you know, that they were sending him information. He was sending them information.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt like it was, I don't know, because I don't know his intent. But it happens a lot. It happens a lot. And you think you're hearing something that you're not. You have to really listen to what's being said.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine clock.
Okay, so here we go with the rose. Oh, I know. Okay. that gets my dander up. Especially when we talk about Chris with Rose, I don't even want to go there. He tried to get involved in that case. He tried hard.
Well, last night when he brought Rose up, and I was like, whoa. Where did that come? Why did that be an right now?
Yes.
But
he was trying to put that into the mix. Well, yeah, her aunt went missing 12 years ago. Like, that had something to do with it.
Right. And that was Candace's family. Dawn didn't grow up in Candace's family.
No.
So
and Dawn never met Rose. Yeah, and that had
Yeah, as far as we know, I mean, Candace says, Dawn said, everybody has said they never met.
Rose said she never met him.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. But it just there was a bunch of stuff like that got added in. But what I don't understand is if you relay the story of June 15th to someone so that they can do an analysis on it, it has to start with Summer, and it has to be about her
Yes.
and not about the person that they think. Yeah, I understand that's his number one suspect, and I understand why. And I'm not even saying that Don did do anything to Summer. I don't know. I really don't.
Yeah.
But if you're not truthful to the right answer, you're certainly not going to get there quickly.
Right. Okay. So let's go back to the transcript. Now, do you know anything about Candace's sister Rose, the one that has been missing for 10 or 11 years? Or if Don has ever talked about her? Yeah, I don't. Just stuff of what I've seen on Facebook or read, I have no clue. Do you have anybody in your family met any of the other children besides the oldest son? Or any, I should say, of Candace's children, the other boys or Summer? Yes, the only other person I know of was his oldest son, little Donnie. I believe he went to Tennessee one summer, was just about 6 months old or something. I believe he was there, but I think he's the only one that I know of, other than, all us kids. He's the only one I know of that has met Candace. That's Don's son, his oldest son with Pam. Okay, I missed something about your sister possibly. Let's see. I'm going to eliminate some extraneous stuff here. Have you heard that EquiSearch is actually coming in to do some big searches this weekend? Mary said, I have. I'm hopeful. Yes, I'm hoping like crazy that they find her. Yeah, and anybody that's in chat, that's also in Facebook groups, they've made it very clear. They want to make sure that nobody posts anything about what they're doing or takes pictures or anything like that and posts on social media. I do remember that, them asking that. So if you guys are in the area, just keep those photos to yourself, please, because this is about finding Summer. Okay, Theresa said, do you happen to know how Don's relationship is with Donnie Jr. and his daughter? Like, how are they now? Well, when he was with Donnie, was down here, he actually went over to his son's house quite a bit, and they seem like they have a pretty good relationship. And his daughter, I'm not sure about his oldest daughter. She said she hasn't talked to her for probably 10 or 15 years. Oh no.
Oh no.
Fred did not know Rose. Yeah, that was a lie. Seriously, Fred did not know Rose. Fred also said he doesn't use drugs, so there we go. I'm sorry, Reap.
I know you did not.
Okay, Fred.
We could do a whole series.
I have to ask, what's your gut telling you? Do you think that Summer's alive? Mary said, oh my gosh, a part of me feels like she is. I kind of feel like maybe Candace might have sold her or gave her to somebody or something. But, it's just my gut feeling. I did put on one of the sites one time a couple of weeks ago because Donnie kept talking about sex trafficking or traffickers taking her. And I was just wondering, is there any place on the web that you could go to, definitely not places I want to go to, to see if they put her picture out there for sex trafficking, or what I mean, right? I don't know if there's any sites out there that does that. A lot of people came back and they were kind of upset at me for asking that question. But, it's just a pretty fair question. The FBI does have databases like that, and they do have people who are very computer savvy and get into all those things so they can monitor photos for missing kids. How accurate and how efficient it is, I wouldn't be able to answer. But I know there are definite law enforcement entities that take care of looking at that. Honestly, in my opinion, I think Don just went along with, the sex trafficking because he knew that there was over 50 sex offenders in that area. I believe so, with everyone saying that. I think he probably maybe thought that she was abducted by a sex offender. Like, I'm looking at chat for a minute. Okay, gosh,
just in case anybody wonders at all, the FBI has taken care of looking for those kinds of things. So don't worry, you don't need to go find
I'm sure
the dark web and websites to do that. So
I don't think most people know how to get to the dark web. I think they think 4chan is the dark web. Yeah, you'd have to download Tor and do a lot of things to get on the dark web that I think is kind of over. I'm pretty sure that Candace wouldn't know how to get on the dark web.
No, I wouldn't think Don would either.
No, Don's even less technically savvy than Candace.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, great. Report you saw. I look forward to it. Okay, wait a minute. Rose Meyer, no, nobody's talked about Rose Meyer. Oh, you mean Rose? You think Rose Meyer took Summer? No, Rose didn't come there until 2 days after Summer went missing. So there's no way that she was. Okay. So, yeah, I saw a lady, I don't know if I should name her name, but she said, yeah, she looked on the dark web and she found a picture of Summer on there and she sent it to the FBI. They know that she's on the dark web. Okay. I mean, if you're looking on the dark web at child pornography sites, I'm pretty sure the FBI is going to be interested in that.
He'll be looking at you.
That's not usually something you talk about on Facebook that you did. Okay.
Was it the guy from was it Iron Maiden? The guy from Iron Maiden, he got caught with all this child pornography on his computer, and he said it was research or a documentary.
Oh, that was
was that him?
No, I do remember that story. I do remember that story. I don't think he's the only one that used that story either.
I don't think he is.
I think they've heard that a couple of other times too.
Probably every time. Oh, I'm doing this documentary.
Okay, let's see some of the footage of your documentary then.
Yeah. Well, I hadn't got started yet.
Okay, so if they're going to use her for that or something, I'm sure they're trying to put her picture out there so they can advertise. No, don't go with the dancing in the red barrel for sale.
Yeah, there is a reasonable explanation that was given by the ex-neighbor on that, who verified, and a couple of other people in the area have verified that people buy those barrels to burn things in, and that was the ex-neighbor said that was likely the last barrel, and it's the one that says for sale that had probably 15 barrels there initially, but they'd sold all of them, but the last one that has for sale on it. And I don't know. That's just another explanation. So.
I have a picture of that barrel the year before on its side by the bus covered with snow, and you can see that for sale and tape on it then. So Don did not put that Don did not put that for sale tape on there. And he didn't paint it either. People say, oh, look, there's a paint can right there. A paint can that says Raid in huge letters. Yeah, that's.
Well, I saw people saying there were paint chips all around too, and you could tell.
Oh yeah,
toys. It's like little toys and stuff. And I was
yes,
like, okay.
they did. And there's oil stains down over the red paint and the for sale tape. Yeah, like I don't know. That whole thing was just kind of ridiculous.
there's so much. I heard a debate not before last about whether the camper top was on Grandma Candy's
Oh,
truck
yeah.
or not. And I was like, really? That's what we're okay. All right.
That came from Smiley.
I'll travel with them for a little bit until I'm just like, hey, that's kind of beyond when I can suspend.
That was Smiley, and then other people picked up on it.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, Smiley did that. Oh, look what I found! They've been lying to us this whole time, and then like whatever. What does that
I didn't
matter?
even know that's where it came from. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw it. I saw it bust out, and then like seriously, Candy, you think is capable physically of taking that top running off? That's like a 2-man job with tools.
Yeah, there was an idea that it was pressure. The back of the truck had been pressure washed out, and that was the watermarks on the back of the window. And
oh my god,
y'all know that Summer is in the back seat, right? Like, what good would it have done for them to? I mean, I don't understand. What are you washing out the back of the truck? And it was piled high with stuff.
Oh yeah, she had her totes of craft stuff and stuff back there. I heard that she carried the fishing poles around back there. Plus, they put groceries back there, according to Hunter, if you believe that was that day.
Yeah.
Okay.
No idea.
Somebody's chastising me about not getting back to the interview, so.
I'm sorry. It's totally my fault.
No, it's not. We're getting to some good stuff here. Okay, so I'm pretty sure they're putting the picture out there so they can advertise her. And I thought, well, if they found the picture or something, they could know. Okay, did you ever hear about anybody staying on their property with them or some campers on the neighboring land? Mary said, I did. I was talking to one of my sisters, and she said that about a week before Summer went missing, there was a couple of guys that pitched a tent or something up on their property. And Don and Candace went up there and confronted them and told them they had to pack up and leave. I heard it was quite a confrontation with them, and they also ended up having to call the cops and stuff just to get them off their property. That's interesting because I haven't seen any police report from that.
Me either. I also haven't heard that story. We heard H say that there was a man that had been on the property, and I think that some other people. I mean, I'd heard the rumors that there were people camping on their property and all of this, but over time and what we know now, as opposed to what we knew then, I think it's highly unlikely. So
Yeah.
there's quite a few things that her sister told her, which I don't know which sister, but that Mary says her sister told her, that some of it we know isn't true, and some of it is very likely not true. And I don't think it was inside information like it felt like it was coming from the stepsister. You know what I mean? I think it was stuff that they had seen on Facebook or YouTube. And to be fair, She says, I don't really know, but I heard from one of my sisters. You're right, Stephen Splitter. That's exactly right.
Or they heard it from Dad and Candace, who you can pretty much eliminate anything that came from them.
A lot, yeah, because I mean that's extremely frustrating to try to line up that. Then we did this, and then we did this, and then we did this, and then we planted flowers, and then we washed our hands, and we got a piece of cake. To listen to that the tellings of that side by side, to look at that side by side is frustrating. Very frustrating.
Uh-oh. Okay. Somebody just asked me if that picture they sent me, where is that? Oh, that, yes, that was debunked. She sent me the picture of the little girl with the mask on that somebody said was Summer back at the beginning. Yeah, that was debunked.
Yeah. She's a cute little girl.
Yeah.
Really cute little girl.
I heard her mother was pretty upset to get a visit from the cops. Okay, so did you ever hear anything about somebody actually staying on the property like staying with them or in one of their outdoor or outhouse areas. No, Mary said, I just heard about them pitching the tent or something and staying on their property. I guess they'd been there for a couple, 3 or 4 days or something, and Candace and Don had been trying to get him off the property, and they wouldn't leave. So they did end up leaving. Okay, so did you happen to follow any of the interviews with, like, the boy who happened to spend the last day with Summer or anything like that? There's another thing I'm adding this in, that this channel refused to interview him, Hunter, because he was a minor. But I guess Chris McDonough did not let that hold him back, did he? That's just my little aside, in my opinion. Okay. Do you have an opinion on any of that? Well, I know from the interviews and stuff that everybody's been saying, I think he might know a little bit more. And he's saying his mom's probably trying to protect him. Of course, like any mother would. And you know what kind of situation? I don't know. My thought is he knows a little bit more than what he's saying. And he doesn't even know that he knows. Okay. Is from your perspective anything that you think we need to take into account? Gosh, not really. I hope they would find her. Every day I pray. And I've never met her, but I cry for her. And Theresa said, I know that's your little niece. Well, yeah, even though you haven't met her, I can't stop thinking about her or trying to figure out what we can do. So I totally understand. Yes, it's really sad because it's tearing my family apart. I don't want that either. And I hope that Don knows, like you're on here literally saying you don't think that he had anything to do with it. So I hope that he's not upset with you for that. Yeah, I really don't think he had anything to do with her disappearance. And you know, I know there's a lot of animals around here, and that's another thing that came to mind. A lot of people say that wild boars will pick up a person or a child or another animal and take off with it and leave absolutely no traces behind. That's actually one of the things that Candace has said, you know, that Summer never wanders off because they've made it very clear about the wooded areas having bears and bad, you know, things. So not to go on there on your own. That's one of the things that Candace said she was adamant about, that Summer did not wander off on her own. But then again, you have to look at it this way also. She's a little girl. She probably loves animals. You know, if she's seen a little baby bear or a baby something, she'd go, oh, come here, and want to grab it or something. You know what I mean? I'm not ruling anything out. I don't know. My gut doesn't tell me one thing or the other. I'm kind of like you. I've thought about all the different things that it could be. And all I know is there's obviously something missing. I mean, Summer's missing. There's something missing in the storyline. But I don't know who. I don't know what. There's nothing telling me to go in one direction or the other. So it just seems so weird, you know. I mean, but then again, I've heard of kids missing in the woods or forests and stuff. I mean, for instance, we had a 2-year-old boy go missing up here. It was probably 10 years ago or so, and that is Dior Kuntz. Okay, here, I'm talking, this is me now. That's a case that has haunted me. That little boy was so adorable and goes camping with his parents and his grandfather and just is never seen again. And then his boots and his clothing that he was wearing allegedly at the campground are found in the house after his parents get a divorce.
Wait,
So
what? I didn't know that.
I just read that the other day.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
I mean, so I'm just going to leave that there.
Oh no. Okay.
That case just really has always bothered me. Okay, so here she said, I'm not sure, but he was missing for 3 or 4 days, and they found him alive 20 miles away from where he disappeared. That's not true. Okay, and then she said this was a 2-year-old boy with just a diaper on. I have no idea how he got that far. He walked 20 miles. That's a mixed up story there. Do you think that Don would cover for Candace if something did happen and he knew about it? You know, it's really hard to say. I kind of think maybe, but then again, you know, a lot of people are saying, like Donnie in his interview with Candace, he's showing a lot of signs of controlling and stuff like that. But my dad is very controlling with my mother. So I'm thinking that's probably where he picked it up from. Of course, my dad, you know, and so I do believe that Donnie is pretty controlling with his wife and kids, but I just don't know. It's kind of weird. In one interview, she keeps looking at Donnie to make sure, I don't know myself, I think she keeps looking at him to make sure it was okay what she was saying to the reporter. And it's just like verbally controlling, or do you think it's mind controlling? Mary said it's mind controlling. I don't know how well it's verbal. Yes, it's control manipulation. She has 1,000 questions. And let's see, they're just about done. Okay, she just says she prays for the family every day. Teresa's saying this. Do you think... Okay, the lie detector test. Did Donnie ever talk to your parents about taking the lie detector test? You know, I don't know. I haven't talked to my mom and dad about that, so I don't know. I know he said in his interviews that they passed. I don't know if the TBI or FBI or the cops would say anything if he was lying. Why would he say that on public television or whatever? Why would he say they passed if they didn't? So I don't know. You know, I'm hoping that they did, but it's just speculation because I guess nobody really knows if they did or not. Someone comes forward and says they actually passed. I have no clue. We typically wait for law enforcement to say that everybody's passed. Well, law enforcement did say that. Later on.
Yeah, they did.
If the purpose is to discredit Mary, it's not working. I'm not trying to discredit Mary. I'm reading a transcript of her interview with Theresa.
Yeah, and when you were reading that, she was talking about she cries for Summer and prays for Summer and all that. I absolutely believe that. Like I absolutely believe that. The problem I think is that some people have gotten blinders on for whoever their suspect of choice is, be it Dawn or Candace or Jody Sue or Andy or Fred or whoever. And they have blinders on about it. And I think it's good to go review these things because time has passed and we know a lot more now. We know more than Mary knows more than she knew then. But why would Mary need to give permission, Hazel?
Yeah, Mary doesn't need to give her permission. Mary, yes, gave this interview.
And we're not bashing Mary either.
On YouTube. So, yeah, it's out there. A lot of people have taped it. So, who demolished headstones in a cemetery? I have no idea.
Oh, that's horrible.
I guess I'm lost.
But you guys, I don't think I mean, Lisa can correct me if I'm wrong about how she feels, but I don't think anybody's trying to discredit anybody.
No, not at all.
Discussion. I was very disappointed with the interview room. the other night because I don't think that it was a fair description of this case. And that's my opinion. And so we're just sitting here going through an interview, the original interview that Mary gave with Unmasked,
Yeah,
to see what was said back then so we can understand it.
Yeah, we're not trying to discredit her. We're just going by some things that she said. And as time goes on, this was, 2.5 years ago, we found out a lot of other things. Things that are in this interview are some things that, we found more information and found out that maybe this wasn't correct, but these things are still being repeated to this day. So
right.
We're just going over these things. And
if they didn't stem from this, they were reinforced by this, right? Because at the time specifically, people thought that Mary was closer to Dawn. Like as far as she had inside information about what was going on, and
right,
that she knew these things, that she never claimed that she knew, that they were there on the 15th. It was her mother had told her that, or her sister told her that, and she was clear about that. So I don't think, I would never bash somebody like that. Like,
no,
but it sounds like you guys think it's happening. Neither one of us would.
No, I had talked to Theresa about this interview, and I said I thought Mary was very sincere in it. Yeah, she seemed like she wanted to keep things straight and, make sure that, this was second-hand information and what she knew. Like the maggots, she said no, she'd never seen the maggots, and that was one of the rumors that was going around.
Yeah.
So no,
I would say she does now. I believe now at this current time, she does say that there were.
Yeah.
So there is that. I don't know if she found out about it, like she asked her parents or something, and they said, "Oh yeah, that may have been the change." But back then, she didn't know. She said she didn't.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. Where was I? Okay. Okay. This is Theresa. Do you think that there was any type of abuse between Don and Summer? Gosh, I don't know. I keep telling myself I don't think he would do that. But then again, the stuff that he did to my sister. And there was one incident that even happened to me when I was about 13 with Donnie and a couple of his friends. So, I don't know. I hate to say he would because I hate to think about that, but gosh, you just never know. Another thing is Donnie, he was saying that, oh, I'm never going to drink again. I'm never going to do drugs again. And I've learned my lesson. And it kind of made me start thinking, well, what do you mean you learned your lesson? And what lesson is it that you had to learn? What I mean is that is that recent? Or is that from back when Donnie was saying that? Oh, probably about 3 weeks or so ago. So, by any chance, because now I'm hearing that the day Summer disappeared, apparently Don took two or all three of the boys to work that day? Or he was supposed to. I just heard that from Hunter on his interview that he had the boys with him that day. And Mary says, I have no clue. Candace said that they were out. Right. That was the first time that I heard that I heard the boys being at work with him. Okay, the chat wanted her, what?
I think I understand what Diamond is trying to say. She doesn't know if it's Mary talking or if it's...
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, I think that's what she's saying, where she keeps saying she's confused. I just wanted to clarify. Don't be sorry. I know what it is because I listened to it recently, and I'm like, I know what you're talking about.
If I could play it, it would be more, but I'm just reading, so it's kind of, the way that they're talking and the way the transcription works, sometimes I'm not even sure who's asking it. So.
I know, I've heard you go, oh, that's, they're asking that. Yeah. Oh, they're asking that. It's okay,
so here she's asking a question from chat. The religious stuff that you've seen him posting on Facebook and during the interviews, does that seem normal for Don? And Mary said, no, that's not normal for him. It's like I said when we first started talking, he turns to Bible and church after something bad has happened, like he's been put in prison or something that's happened with him. He always turns to God and the Bible and church and everything. And I think it's wonderful. That's great, but it only lasts for a couple of weeks or a month, and he's right back to his old self. So Theresa said the other thing that we had heard was that he had gotten into religion after the October incident at the house, that he had gotten more into religion after that arrest. Mary said, I don't know. I just know that you all know this stuff. He's talking about religion, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's losing his mind. I don't even understand why he's posting all this stuff. And I keep trying to tell him, I posted this on Facebook. Dude, don't be posting stuff like this because people are just going to tear you apart. Yes, they will, I mean, it's like he keeps accepting all these friends. He finally had to shut his Facebook down, but he started accepting all his friends before he only had like 60 friends or something. And now he's got over 2,000. And I was asking his one biological sister, why is he accepting all these friends? They're just being mean to him and saying mean things. And I guess he told her that he wanted to accept everyone because what if they have information about Summer? So that's why he keeps accepting all these friends. And it's just not a good thing. It's not, unfortunately. But I mean, this is Theresa. We see that only because of, following cases and knowing a lot of people that are going to send friend requests. But somebody who, wanting the help, I understand why he thinks that it would be right. The right thing to do. And who knows, one of these people could be the person that he's looking for, the needle in the haystack. Okay, so Theresa again. Did Don ever mention to you anything about some creepy guy being on the property? We were talking about that you watched Hunter's interview. Did he ever mention to you guys that there was some creepy guy around the property? That same guy. I think that's the same guy. So, there's just so many things that go through my mind. And, with Johnny doing drugs and stuff, and, I'm not sure he's not doing it now because he said he quit doing drugs and drinking and everything before Summer went missing. I did hear that. This is me talking. People in town said he was going to Alcoholics Anonymous. I don't know how they'd know that because that's anonymous. But before Summer went missing, the days before or weeks or months, whatever I know, he was doing drugs and drinking. And I know for a fact when you get a lot of people who are doing drugs, especially around meth, that goes around. And in my own experience, I've had people who do meth and thought they were my friends once before they started doing it, but then they start coming around and they're acting weird and they're acting different and they're on drugs and you end up getting them pissed off and they will retaliate. You know what I mean? And Theresa said, do you think there was any type of like meth use or any other drug like outside of marijuana and alcohol that was being used in the family? Mary said, I don't know. I do know marijuana and drinking, but other than that, I don't know. I just know when Donnie was younger, he did a lot of drugs before he left and went to Tennessee. Theresa said, do you happen to know if they've been drug tested? And apparently Mary didn't answer that because there's nothing on here. Okay, she said we pretty much covered everything, so that's about it. Then they just go over the boys being taken again, so. Okay. So do you have anything else you want to add?
Well, just she didn't talk about her instance in that interview. Mary?
I can't hear you. I think she's left. Oh, you back?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now. Okay, Fred knew a different Rose? No, Fred did not know Rose Meyer. I can tell you that for a fact.
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, wait, did he say?
I don't think Fred in his stories.
Yeah, and you don't know. I mean, because like there's another person on that road that like there'll be a little tiny bit of truth in this big elaborate story, right? And you have to try to figure out what part's true, and pull it out. It's really not easy. I think it runs on the road. But that's kind of a theme. Sadly.
Well, yeah, I think there's a lot of criminal activity, in my opinion, on that road. And I think people, are not apt to volunteer truthful information. Especially with people that just show up out of the blue and have you on camera. Even if an animal... What?
No, I was just going to say thank you for letting me come up. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for coming up. You have a lot of information to add, and I'm glad that you helped me out with that. I appreciate it a lot. We're going over the second part of the interview, so on Thursday, I think. So if you want to come back, or the second interview with her.
Well, I think we have tentatively planned to do a live tomorrow night too. So hopefully you can come over and hang out with us and add to that as well.
Okay.
It would be awesome. But thank you so much for having me, and good night, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good night. Yep. Bye. Okay. Is there anything else anybody wants to? Yeah, I don't think Candace was, Rebecca. I don't know that for certain. I don't even know if Don was a member officially. I think you have to register. The kind of animal that eats humans do not exist in Tennessee. I know that black bears do not eat humans. They rarely attack humans. We actually have a lot of black bears around here, literally in subdivisions that roam around, and people video them and think they're quite entertaining. Yes. I would, yes. I'm sure Summer would scream if an animal was attacking her. Allegedly, in my opinion, I should say. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. Yes, Gavel Geeks, thank you so much. And thank you to Chasing Truth, Tracy, for being on panel too. I appreciate it. They both added a lot to the conversation. And thank everybody for coming. Gosh, I usually keep it at 2 hours, but we had a lot to talk about. So we'll see everybody next time. Thank you for coming. Everybody have a wonderful evening. And we'll see you next time.